Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, happy day after St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're all keeping very well. And tonight you join us for part 2 of our IFR ATC course. Tonight we're going to focus on departure to UNICOM. That is the title, and that is what we'll talk about. So hope you had a great weekend. It was a bank holiday here in little old Ireland today, and it is grand. A day off. Kinda, sorta. And there's stuff in the background. I got panels installed today. Thanks, Kibbo. I never would have made it. I'll do some sort of a close-up on them at some stage. Like, effectively, I've used an abundance of blue tack, no more nails, and even some beer mats. It's sturdy as a rock. It's all good. So, yeah. Oh, Jesus, I'm pressing buttons here. Careful now, Murph. It's a fairly busy one tonight, right? So, well, let's talk about it. So, this is our brand new IFR ATC course designed to encourage pilots to take the next step when it comes to expanding their flight simulation experience. The focus here is on ATC communication, the phraseology, and some of the procedures that we're going to be doing to prepare you to fly on VATSIM or Pilot Edge, IVAO, doesn't really matter which one, right? So in the upcoming installment of our series, part 2, where we're going to delve into the intricacies of flight planning. We're going to secure our IFR clearance, initiate a push and start, navigating the taxiways, and executing a departure following all the protocols. We're going to explore various flight planning techniques, deciphering chart data, understanding conditional clearances, and even some airport signage. Our practical lesson will entail the following sequential steps. Are you ready now? So, our flight tonight, it's a departure out of Echo India, November. This is Shannon Airport in Ireland. We're going to strategize our flight plan. We're going to file our flight plan over on the Two Tone Murphy website. We're going to show you in detail, once again, how to do it. And if anyone's stuck, well, Gibbo made a really handy video, ! Flight plan, I think. I could be wrong. I think it's that. And that'll bring you to a YouTube video where you can see a full tutorial. Then we're going to request an IFR clearance. We're going to navigate through the process of obtaining our IFR. Remember what we looked on last week. We looked at C.R.A.F.T, clearance, route, altitude, frequency, there we go, and our transponder. See, I remember things already. Then when it comes to our pushback procedures, well, we request a pushback from the ground control, and we're also going to look at some of the options like GSX or even Pushback Pro. How do we get the plane to go exactly where we want it to go? We're going to have a look at some of the taxi procedures. Once we receive our taxi instructions from the ground, well, what do we do? And how do we use the airport signage around the taxiway on all the markings on the grounds, on the surface of the taxiway themselves? How does that help us, and how do we kind of keep it in between the ditches, as it were? Then we're going to request our takeoff clearance and the protocol for that. And then after our departure, we transition over to the UNICOM frequency. Basically, we're flying on our own, but we're letting other pilots know what's happening. So through this entire process tonight, well, you're going to gain some hands-on experience and a comprehensive understanding of the flight initiation process. This is all about getting you off the stand, push back, engines running, taxiing, taking off, and then departure. That's what it's all about. So we're also going to do a quick recap on last week's lesson. So if anyone, if you just want to practice even one part of it, well, just let us know. But the flow of how it'll work tonight, we'll get our clearance. And we've thrown something in different. The new updated ground school manual, it's now live on the website. You may have looked at it yesterday, version 7.2. And the difference is each week, whenever there's a new version added, it's purely just adding in the next lesson. It's just going to be the next lesson. So, the 100 and odd pages of all the information, if you like, for the ground school course, that all stays the same. We're just going to add in some of the new lessons week by week. And we're aiming for about 10 lessons here. And there might be a few revision sets as well. So tonight, how it's going to work, we have Shannon Delivery, a brand new frequency just for ourselves up and running. Then we'll also have Shannon Ground, and then we'll have Shannon Tower. And then after that, we will have the UNICOM frequency as well. So just to remind everyone, if you are going to fly with us tonight, if you're taking part in the course, I would ask that you switch your server and be on the North Europe server, just North Europe for now. And as we transition through the different stages, we'll ask you to move to a different server. That's how our technology running all this in the back end works. That's how we have full radar coverage. And that's for Xbox and PC pilots. So if you want to take part, you're more than welcome to give it a shot. Don't be afraid. It's only us. And there's a full script there. You change what's relevant to you, and I'll go through all of this. I'm going to give you a full demonstration of what the entire process will be tonight as we cover some of the theory behind it. But if you do want to start off, just make sure you're on the North Europe server. And we'll go through some of the reminders here as well. You know, if you spawn in on a stand and there's someone there, well, first in, best dress, just move, give them a bit of space, and then you can take that position next. You see? So it's all, right, it's all kind of go. So I didn't read that at all. I memorised all that. Yes, all of that. Right? But here we are, the start of a new week. And as it's a fairly busy one. So as the course progresses, there will be plenty of time for revision. So if you're just joining us, if this is the first time here, you're very welcome aboard. The lessons are all going to be posted onto YouTube. So if you miss one, you can pick up the video, you can follow along with the course manual, and you can practice yourself. Then we will run a couple of ad hoc sessions, maybe during the week or on the weekends, for anyone who'd like to do a little bit more, just kind of bit of revision. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. So who's here? Look, and then we'll get into it. I'll say hello to a couple of people because you're very good for rambling in. Bit of tunage here in the background. Quasar Core, welcome aboard. 23 months, man. Thank you very much indeed. Great to see you. The Blaze is here. Good to see you. The Bull Bandit is in the house. Tarnished Mossman, welcome aboard. Hope you're well, man. Gibbo Ireland is here. Asher, how are you, Gibbo? Time to run away. Asher, it'll be grand. I blame Murph. Oh, no, wait. I can blame Murph if it goes wrong. Well, I suppose the fact that you said if, that's given me kind of, right, you know, a bit of confidence, Gibbo. Flight planage. Exclamation point flight planage. Planage. That'll bring you up the VOD. Super Typhon, good to see you. David Bay is in the house. Bell Bro, welcome aboard. Quaggy, you're very welcome in. Thought you had sound issues. I was slow to press the button. I've had technology. I did a video today because the sim is just press any button and then your man starts talking. Press any button to play. Who's your man? Do you know? So listen, it is what it is. We'll get through it together, lads. Do you know? Old Veteran 965 Scott, very happy birthday from 2 days ago. Hope you're keeping well. It's younger you're looking. You're looking younger. You're very welcome in. Now where are we at? Onboard Simulations, welcome in. Muse Fan is in the house. Happy hungover day, or hangover day. Muse Fan was up late last night, playing the session. He was playing the spoons with a set of knives and forks. Brilliant comment. You're very welcome aboard, Muse. Hope all is well. Stick Figure, welcome in. Tarnished Mossman is in the house. Soaring AJ, Tier 3 for 38 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. My dude, it's great to see you. Corn Wolf, happy Monday. Willow How Much is here. After many pints of the black stuff yesterday, Murph is sober again. Until next year. Jesus. There's buttons being pressed. God almighty, Hype Train. Cyrus T is here. Hello, Cyrus T. Welcome in, man. Spitfire RAF 100. Happy Monday to you. Bald Eagle has subscribed for 12 months. 1 year, man. Thank you very, very much indeed.
You're going a bit mad there.
We'll get there together. Gaseous Maximus, hello. Welcome aboard. Hemming Bird is here. We had a competition at work to decide the best neckwear. It was a tie. Sorry, that was not good. I hope you're all suitably recovered from yesterday's antics and didn't make too many poor decisions. She's on fire. Brilliant. Does the script need to be... It does give out. Yes, it absolutely does. So I'll have to... We'll go through it. But yeah, 100% give out. I never updated it. But it's grand. We'll just change the... We'll see. It'll be like watching grass growing. So peaceful, so nice, do you know? But anyway, Martel, good to see you. Ian Fisher, hello Ian, hope you're well. Eamon 1973 is here. He says, I'm having to be at Murph's flight school while at work, working on Pearl engine cover plates. Be the genie, sounds great. Now where are we at? Proby Pete, good to see you. Rambog Mord is in the house. Good to see you, man. Airlock Doc is here. He says, good evening and happy Monday. So how many of you have the Shamrock Shakes today? I got a Shamrock Shake yesterday. They do them at McDonald's. I just got a Shamrock Shake. I don't know. Did they used to be nicer? Yeah, it was okay, but like it was kind of anticlimactic. It was just like, yeah, it's just a minty flavored milkshake from McDonald's. But yeah, it's what you do. Only 364 days until St. Patrick's Day. Come on, Canoehead. It's good to see you, man. Sterling, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Shy Lucy Meow, you're very welcome in. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJ John, hope all is well. Kozaki Flyer is in the house. 7 streams in a row, man. Great to see you. Now, let me see. We're catching up. Sunjammer, welcome aboard. Zythy is in the house.
Oh, behave.
Oh, behave. SK Sun is here. You're very welcome in. Rad Baron, love the Winamp visualizer. Thank you very much. Hermit Something, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Englewood Online. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you too, man. Yeah, we had a good old day yesterday. Now, Cy120, good to see you. Epic Fool is in the house. How is the Prince of Propellers today? The Prince of Propellers? Epic, it's good to see you. I saw your fancy collective gadget with throttle thing that was built by your mate. It looks very fancy. It's in Discord there. Black Eyes Gabe, we have a Black Eyes Gabe. Gabe, it's good to see you. Happy Monday to you, my dude. Hope you're keeping very well. Sunjammer, 5 streaks in a row. Come on yourself. Magsim TV. Hello, you're very welcome in. Flying Tonight is here. Happy Monday to you. Zythy then subscribing with Prime for 6 months. Zythy, thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Dr. Sisu is here. Who needs sound deadening panels when you can use beer mats? Right, I'm on to something here. Do you know Cork? And not the county. You know Cork, like a cork in a bottle? You know the material cork? That's wild expensive and seemingly in very short supply. So like, invest in it now. You know, it'll be worth slightly more than what it is, you know, today. Which I don't know how much it is. Iron Knob Airways, good to see you. Welcome aboard over on YouTube. Who's this? Welsh Dogfish. Hello, my dude. Who else is here? There's a few people here. Roy Van Can. You're very welcome in. And to all our friends watching us on YouTube, lads, happy Monday. And I hope you're keeping well. There's a few there. Janie, it's a busy one tonight. But we'll get through it. Don't worry. You know what I'm like. I'll make a mistake. Energizer is here. Good to see you. Super Typhon. Welcome aboard. He says, you weren't the only one that got Guinnessed. Arash yesterday almost landed on an unfinished runway. He'd be grand. Now, let me see. Taxiing at Dublin Airport while having the old scenery without the new runways. Oh, yes, that'll do. That always works, right? Always works. Larger Life says, Murph, you look like a news announcer. Now it's time for the news. I'd be handy at that. I wouldn't bother with any of the like bad news or sad news. I keep saying this. News is absolutely waste of time. All it does is upset and depress people. There should be news about having the crack. Do you know what I mean? Right, lads, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk to this fella who managed to fit 1,000 M&Ms in his mouth without chewing. What? Reporting live, take it away. That's the sort of news I need. Instead of, you know, a fella broke into this place and this other fella hit this other fella a slap and your one said, what were you doing? And this politician, do you know what I mean? We need happy news. Welcome to the Happy News channel. Yes, that'll work. Now, where are we at? We're over here. Corn Wolf, welcome aboard again. Murph, when did you get the teleprompter? A couple of weeks ago. Is it that obvious? I'm Ron Burgundy. It's fine. It's fine. Right, we're catching up now. The prompter's in Egypt. It is. Bacelli, 23 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guys. Great to see you. Filthy, welcome in. Patrick, happy Monday. Back home after a fantastic weekend in Manchester, and I'm absolutely wrecked. Welcome back. I hope you had a ball, man. I hope you had a ball. David Bay, welcome in. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, currently 37 months. Dougal, thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. And you're very welcome in. Now, let me see. There's all stuff happening over here. Sunjammer has subscribed on Prime for 18 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. He says, now, do we still have to press any button? Could you show which one that is on the keyboard? It's beside the .com button. Now press .com. I can't find the .com button. But yes, P.S. Mirandai. Hello there. You're very welcome in. Good to see you. Dan1878 is here. Good to see you. Now, let me see. Greg Gore, welcome aboard. Airlock says, Murph, when I said Shamrock Shakes, I meant the Irish Hangover. Yeah, I know you did, but then I segue. Right. Eamon says, Chase, a sacrilege. The supermarkets where I live ran out of Guinness, which meant I was Guinness-less. Guinness-less on St. Patrick's Day, Eamon. God almighty. I wanted to get the Shamrock Shake, but I couldn't find a McDonald's in Manchester. Oh, that's terrible sad. Paparazzi is here. Good to see you. He says, happy afternoon, Murph and Fireflies. Another great day for flying. Indeed, indeed. And now let me see. Who's this? Jin Adam. Good to see you. I hope it's Jin Adam. Maybe that's just the way I want to see it. It could be, you know, Jin Adam. Listen, it's me, Alison Johnson. You're very welcome in, Ali. It's Kark. Hope you're well, Ali. Now, where are we at? We're over here, look. Fallen Up has fallen in, subscribing for 18 months, my guy. Thank you very, very much indeed. And brilliant. It gets darker each episode. What does? Oh, the news. Oh, yeah, it's the best drama series ever. Brilliant. Fallen Up, thank you very, very much indeed. Now, Tarmo 10K, hello. Poor planning on you. Should have stocked up. Ooh, well, you know. To be fair, everyone else had the same idea. Everyone bought Guinness. Even those who don't drink Guinness bought Guinness. You know, just to decorate the house with it. Fill up the bath, maybe. A bath full of Guinness. Don't knock it till you try it. But anyway, right, so we're kind of looking good. So we're going to manoeuvre now over to another screen, as was my wont. And the transition there, I keep meaning to have some sort of a transition to see what's going to happen. But anyway, here we are sat on the ground at Shannon Airport. And as I said, we're going to go through the few bits and bobs here now. So we shall ramble over to our website, twotonemurphy.com. And this is where all the course material is pretty much kept, right? So let's have a look here now. So zoom in my little screen here. And we're going to go to the ATC series. That's where we kind of do our stuff. And if you're new to this, as I said, we're currently running a special promotion with a very special thanks to Navigraph. And this is actually finished up on the 25th. So next Monday. Effectively, any new subscriber to an annual subscription of Navigraph, so anyone who signs up new, and you sign up for 12 months, well, Navigraph will give you 1 month for free. For free. And all you need to do is click on the little link. It's in our notams. It's also on the little gadget here on Twitch. If you scroll down, you'll see it. I think it's in the description on YouTube as well. But yes, so many thanks to Navigraph. Absolutely brilliant. And anyone who I'll catch it up on the news this week as well, right? But Navigraph are working on an update, and their update is going to allow you to draw on your charts from the desktop app or from your phone or whatever. So I know people were asking about that before. They are adding it, and soon, very soon. So a couple of things just to get ourselves up and running. As I said, anyone who wants to participate in the flight tonight, just make sure you're on the North Europe server. And if you're taking part, do be sure to jump into our voice channel, the ATC Lounge. That's where you can jump in, check your comms, make sure everything's working. And the lads, Gibbo and Rambog, they're there for the moment. So if you need any help or assistance, just give the lads a shout. And before I even start, I have to give a massive thanks to Gibbo and to Rambog, because the support has been absolutely friggin' insane. Like the hours that these lads are taking out of their own life, out of their own stuff they have to do, to give me a bit of a dig out and just kind of test things and just go over a few bits and pieces. It's absolutely incredible. And all these sort of series that we do, the ATC ones in particular, a lot of planning with multiple people goes on in the background. And I tend never to dwell, oh yeah, there's so much going on. But for this one in particular, there is so much going on in the background. And I just want to give a massive thanks. The lads are legends. Do you know what I mean? So fair dues, and thank you very, very much indeed. So starting off here on the website, the introduction, if you're new, go in there, you'll figure it all out. The course registration, this is where you register for the course. Once you register, there's no need to re-register. We have you. Once you're in, you're in. So I'll ask for your Discord name, your gamer tag, and what platform. Are you on the PC or are you on the Xbox? If you don't have Microsoft Flight Simulator, your gamer tag, just put in X-Plane or P3D or whatever other simulator you're using. Just put that in there. All right. Once you register, you can then check out the assignments page. The assignments page is going to confirm that you're booked. It's also going to issue you with a call sign. Remember your call sign. This is what ATC will address you by. So you will be known as Firefly 001, for instance, if you're Georgie, right? But FFA, our ICAO, it's custom. We call it Firefly. It's not Firefly Air, just Firefly. That's what we go by. All right. So you can see here, the Discord handle, the gamer tag, the scheduled block. So at the moment, please visit ATC Lounge on our Discord. That's the first instruction. So that's where you need to go. And depending on the different lessons going forward, you might actually get slotted times in which we expect you to be on the stand, ready to go, ready for pushback. So this will all happen a little bit later on. And this mimics what VATSIM does when it comes to the VATSIM event. You often hear of slot times. That's what we're following here. So we just want to get you used to, okay, so, there's information here that I need to go and visit, or I need to be present at a place at a certain time. That's the idea. Your call sign, we issue them for this course only because that's what we need to do for the background stuff. But usually you'd pick your own call sign. You know, if you're flying with our airline, it'll be Firefly. If you're flying for Aer Lingus, it's Shamrock. If you fly for British Airways, it's Speedbird. You know, if you're flying in any of the American lads, so on and so on. You get the idea, all right? And then the platform is there as well. So if you're unsure, if you can't find yourself, because we actually have 105 people registered, I even said to the lads, Jesus, if we get 10, it'd be great. 20, I'd say, is what we'll probably get. We have 105 people, which is absolutely incredible. And fear not, as I said, if you're not available for every single week, don't worry. All these videos, they're on YouTube. The course manual will always be available, so you can kind of follow them step by step. That's kind of what we do, all right? So that's what the story is. If you can't find your name because you're saying, mother of just so many people, Control and F on this page, it'll allow you to search for your name. So if you type in Control F, and then type in your own name, it'll find where you are. So that's where all of those are. So our flight planning, we'll go through that momentarily when we're filing our flight plan. The ground school document, this is important. We need that. I'll go into that in a moment. We also have links here to checklists if you weren't here last week. So we have some of our own checklists. This one here is about your pre-flight checks. These are all to do by the time you turn on your PC, get your sim ready to go, turn on your sim. It's just a handy little checklist to go through all the details. It's free. You can download it there. And then we have a number of aircraft checklists with a massive thanks to JD. JD is a content creator on YouTube, primarily German, but do check out his channel. He's a lot of tutorial stuff in there, but he also makes some of the best checklists for aircraft we have in our sim. They are super detailed and he breaks them down very, very easily. So if it was a case that you have an aircraft and you're not fully familiar with it, use JD's checklists because he explains where everything is. They're very, very good. So there's a shout out there. Do please visit his channel and give him a like and a subscribe as well. Then we have our NOTAMs. Now these are important. Notices to airmen, or as the Americans like to call it, notice to air mission. But effectively what these are, it's information that we need to know as pilots in our simulated world. In the real world, you'll get NOTAMs for each and every airport in the real world. In the sim world, well, you get them there as well, but these are for us, our NOTAMs. So there's information about the course, about being proficient and refreshing yourself on your aircraft of choice. We have a couple of tips for flying on the VATSIM network. Course registration, what you need to do, how do you do it? Your flight plan submission, this explains how to do it, and then, you know, how do you access it? Then we have our exclusive Navigraph promotion, and again, a massive thanks to the guys over at Navigraph, a great bunch of lads. So they're all in the NOTAMs. Previous course videos are exactly that. That'll be lesson 1 from last week and so on. There's a link here to the IFR checklist. This is it's a payware. You don't need it. If you're subscribed to the channel tier 2 or higher, you get it for free. And if not, it's €1. €1. You can buy it, you can download it, you can print it out. And I use this all the time. It's based on real world IFR clearance check sheet. And I've edited, there's now a new version if you want to go grab that. And if you've already purchased the previous one and you don't have access to the updated one, just drop me a DM, I'll get you sorted. So that's where all those are. Finally, then we have a link there to our Discord channels. You click on that, that'll link you through. We're about 99.9% on voice operations, but we have the option there if someone needs it for texting only. That's available as well. So we're going to go into our ground school document. And once we load up, we've built in a PDF viewer. I have now been assured this is working on mobile. If you guys can let me know. If it's not, I need to go back to the devs because this was not free. So you know what I mean? I'll be Karen. The thing isn't working. You need it to work. So let me know if it's not working on mobile or on your tablet. Let me know. I need to get that sorted. So our virtual ATC ground school. Now this starts off on VIA4. Don't worry about that for the moment because, well, we started last year learning VIA4. So I've kept the entire document together because there's a lot of helpful and handy information here. Super handy. And it's all linked. I mean, you highlight on the heading or on the title and it'll jump you to that page. Super handy. All right. And there's tons of stuff. The IFR course starts on page 100. Nice handy page 100. All right. Every page at the very, very bottom, it has a contents page. If you click on contents, it brings you back up to the contents. So you don't need to spend loads of time scrolling all around the shop. All right. So we're going to go to our IFRs. This is the start of the IFR ground school course. And last week, you know, we touched on some of the bits and bobs here, explaining what things were. And tonight we're going to take probably a little bit, you know, a bit of a more delve into what it is we're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? So there's some basic stuff in here, right? The the course introduction, for example. When do we fly IFR? These are all kind of nice to know stuff. Flight planning when it comes to VATSIM and, you know, how does one plan their flight? You know, how do you find accurate flights, or can you mimic what happened in the real world? You know, you're checking out information from whatever runway is active, so on and so forth. Plus, we can check to see what the real world is doing, something like flight radar, and then we can check in on what the simulated world is doing. There's a great website there called SimAware, and that'll give you a good idea of what happens. All right. Moving on, then we have the IFR flight plan itself, what we need to fill out and how do we fill it out, and some of the information that we need. And we go into our block time, we go into our alternate airports, because we're IFR, we must choose an alternate airport for our flight plan. But don't worry, I'm going to go through this in detail tonight when I'm filing my plan, and you'll get an idea then of what it is we're doing. We go into more, then we have a chat to say, well, look, this is what the flight plan will look like. This is the information that we need to pull from it. For example, this one here is Shannon, runway 24, the Curram 3 Bravo departure via the waypoint of Curram. Then it's an arrival into Cork via the Curram 1 hotel for runway 25. That's what that bit of information says there. And you're probably saying, how does he know these things? Well, it's like a METAR. It's like the first time you look at a METAR and you're thinking, what does all this mean? Once you kind of figure it out, it's like, oh, wait, I get that. You know what I mean? Repetition. You know, practice makes permanent, right? Anyway, next we have our fuel and weight planning. And this could be catching a couple of people off. They're unsure how long their endurance is. Read over this. I saw an absolute barrel load of questions. You know, what do we put in? What's our endurance? The information is in here. The information's in here. So have a look at it. All right. And you can figure it out. I'll be going through it again tonight anyway. Then we went over some of the basics. This is kind of IFR revision. A couple of handy laws, if you like. You know, the distance to height. So your distance by 3. The 3-degree descent, which is ideal for a 3-degree approach. Most ILS approaches will have 3 degrees. A rate 1 turn, which is important. Turn anticipation. So these are all just kind of little hints. Do it this way and you should be fine. Rogue Wolf, good to see you, man. So you know what I mean? Just have a read down through these. They're designed just to, oh yeah, that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Then we go in through some of your onboard navigational equipment. ADF, NDB, VOR, DME, NPA, and AJH. The last one I made up, AJs is how you. But again, it'll explain what each of these instruments are and what that procedure is for a non-precision approach. And it'll say, this is how the system works and this is how you do it. So have a look at these and read over them and, you know, give yourself a bit of a challenge. Try do, you know, an IFR flight, VOR to VOR, or perhaps, you know, an ADF, follow an ADF signal and then throw in NDB. Then you might even try DME arcs and all this. It's a lot of fun when you do it because, you know, it's one thing flying the sim in beautiful sunshine weather. You throw real world weather in there, it really gets interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's a great challenge, right? So moving on, our IFR phraseology, the VATSIM top-down system. We went over this last week, but again, it's just to explain it. And tonight you're going to see it in a bit more action as well. So tonight we will have Shannon delivery staffed. Gibbo Ireland is going to be the controller looking after delivery, and delivery will look after clearances. Next up then we're going to have the ground frequency. I will be controlling ground, and then after that we're going to have tower frequency, and Rambog Mord is going to be controlling our tower frequency. Okay, there's nothing else after that. However, how the VATSIM system works, let's say if Gibbo and myself were not online, we're not controlling, and it's only Rambog. Well, that means Rambog will control delivery and ground and so on, depending on the airport and what frequencies they have, right? Shannon doesn't usually have delivery. It's usually only ground. But you get the idea. If Rambog and Gibbo wasn't on and there's only ground, well then I can't give you takeoff clearance. I can only give you a taxi to an active runway. Then I'm finished with you. Then, you know, you're over to UNICOM or whatever. All right. So that's the VATSIM top-down system. Just be super aware of how it works, because when you jump in, you want to know who you're talking to. Who do you need to talk to? And who do you need to listen to? It's important. So spend a bit of time figuring that one out. It explains it here in detail. Have a read down through it and you should be grand. All the stations are then identified. Who does what, where, when and how and why. And again, you can read down. So for example, delivery controller is responsible for issuing flight plan clearances to departing aircraft before they taxi to the runway. So unlike other ATC positions, the data clearance controller exclusively handles departing aircraft, which means they're responsible for managing only half of the overall traffic in their sector, because it's only the departing, not the arrival. All right. Ground, on the other hand, well, ground's primary responsibility is to provide safe taxi instructions to aircraft while they are on the ground. That could be departing aircraft and indeed arriving aircraft. So ground is looking after in and out. And then we have tower. Tower is the same, except they're looking after them in the vicinity of the aerodrome. They're not talking to, Shannon traffic and they're currently flying over France somewhere. They're restricted to the area in which they operate, but they're also dealing with departures and arrivals. And the very odd time, you might have a flight looking for transition to the airspace where tower can say, yeah, you're grand. Yeah, you're cleared through you might have heard that phrase before, cleared through the Charlie airspace, such an altitude, report when clear. You ever, right? That sort of jazz. Anyway, then it shows the higher levels, approach and radar control or center, or what the names kind of vary. Center, control, doesn't really matter. You just know that's the top end. Then if you fly further in Europe, you have Euro control, but again, they're controlled. They're just an extra higher layer. We don't need to worry about that for the moment. Then I go into wake turbulence. Now, wake turbulence, it is a phenomenon that happens with aircraft because, well, the wing vortices upset all the air and they make it all kind of holy moly and bumpy and terribly shaky. Don't need to worry too much on the physics. You just need to be aware that when it comes to filing your flight plan, and for some ATC communication, you might need to say to them, hey, I'm heavy. Huh? What do you mean you're heavy? You're letting them know that your wake category is heavy. And the reason why, well, if you're in ATC and you're controlling aircraft moving around and you have a 747, which would be heavy, yeah, and then you have a Cessna 172 coming in behind it. Well, if you know there's a heavy roughly here and you've like a little Cessna over here, well, you need to really increase the distance between both of them. And you'll often hear that said, caution wake turbulence. You usually get it at departure, but you need to be aware of it. I'll help you through all this stuff here now in a moment anyway. All right. Now, before I go any further, I need to press a button and turn on my stuff. And this thing here, this is Euroscope, and this is what we're looking at. This is how we track. This is how we track, guys. All right. So this should log in. There we go. So we have a couple of people here, and as I said, just make sure everyone is on the North Europe server. That's important. So this is what this view here, by and large, this is what your radar operator can see. Fiber Strike, thank you very much indeed. 34 months. Cheers, man. This is what your radar operator will see. Now, this scope view here, radar scope of old, this is looking after ground. This is the ground frequency. And if I were to change this, well, this would be the tower frequency. It might be a little bit hard to look at and read and understand, but the guys know what they're doing. For example, if you zoom out far enough, you kind of get an outline of all of Ireland. You can see all the different control zones. We're focused down here in Shannon, and this is what they look at. So these little dots here on my radar screen, well, that's showing who people are. And this is where the science, this is like so unique. This has never been done before, at least to my knowledge, that we can track both Xbox and PC pilots on a scope. It's unheard of. This hasn't happened before. We're doing it. It works because, there's a few geniuses, and, I'm happy to say that I happen to be in the right place at the right time, and geniuses do their genius, which would be Rambog and Gibbo. They just do genius things, and I tend to be in the right place going, oh, look what you did. That's a great idea. And then I'm like, hey, everyone, look what I did. Right? But you get the idea, right? That this is how it all works. So I just wanted to show you what the scope looks like. Now, I'm going to be looking after ground, so I need to make sure that the runways for ground are set up, which they are. Lovely hurdling. And I'll minimize this for the moment. And if anyone's interested on Euroscope or becoming a controller, we're not going to touch on it now, but if there's enough interest for it, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do something along the lines of teaching people of how to get control of this situation, even if it's for our own network outside of VATSIM, if it's just for a couple of people flying along. If it's something that you're interested in and you want to give it a shot, have at it. Let us know and we'll see what we can do. So, wake turbulence, as I said, there's information there. It basically comes down to the maximum takeoff weight of your aircraft. Basically, the size of your aircraft will have its own wake turbulence code. You don't announce medium. You don't announce light. You do, however, announce a heavy. right? If your aircraft weighs more than 300,000 pounds, you're classed as heavy, right? If you are an A380 upwards, they're classed as super. They're very super heavy, so they're known as super. And then it says here, when do we report wake turbulence? So just to be aware of it, all right? Now, uncontrolled airports, this is if you're on VATSIM. There's kind of no real laws to this because, well, there's only you flying. You're just letting other people in the vicinity know the story, right? However, it's almost like your own little mini ATC environment. You become the controller because you're telling people, I'm doing this, then I'm doing that. So just remember, you got to be very clear in what you're saying. And the idea is you're trying to let other people know, who are you, what are you, where are you, and what are you doing? Or what do you want to be doing? That's it, right? So for example here, Shannon traffic, Firefly 235 is taking off runway 6 via Curta 3 Alpha departure, Shannon traffic. And the reason why you say Shannon traffic at the start and at the end of these traffic announcements, if someone just manages to come into range and you're halfway through your conversation, well, they don't know who you're talking to. So if you say it at the start and at the end, they'll say, oh, that was for me. And then if you think it's something important, you can say, last aircraft calling, can you say again? You have all this sort of stuff. All right. So, do I need to file a flight plan to participate? Yes. I'll go through all this with you guys, don't worry. Then we have our en route communication. So for example, when we do our flight today, once you take off from Shannon, there will be an instruction to go over to UNICOM, wait for that instruction. And then we have to say, right, we're now on UNICOM. What the hell do we do when we're in UNICOM? Well, this is what you're going to do. When you're en route, you can give a shout out. You don't need to say an area. You just say, Firefly 235 inbound Curtam at 7,000 or flight level 70, turning right, whatever. You're just letting people know what you're doing. Then you have the arrival process. This is where it gets busy because you're talking to people in the air, in the vicinity, but also people on the ground are now aware of what you're doing. So if I'm in Cork, for example, in my little Cessna 172, because I'm mad to go flying, but I can now hear someone on Unicom, Firefly 9er is a big heavy jet coming in and he's landing on the runway I want to take off on. I better wait for him. If I can't see him, I can always give him a shout. If he doesn't tell me he'll be there in 10 minutes, I can jump on and say, hey, Firefly 9er, how long will you take? I'll be 20 minutes. Ash or grand. You get the idea. But don't worry too much when it comes to what to say and what way to say it. Just do your best to make sure that you're saying, who are you, what are you, where are you, and what you want, or what are you doing? That's the important thing here. There's no right or wrong way to say this. Don't worry if you make a mistake. Don't worry if you jumble the wording around. Doesn't really matter. You just want to be clear and make very clear other people can understand what are you and what you're doing. You know what I mean? Andy, thank you indeed for the follow. You're very welcome in. Ashley says, Murph, should I join at some point? Would I even show up on the scope if I use X-Plane? Ashley, you won't show up on the scope. However, if you are going to join up, we can jump you into... If you have Join FS, we can do a thing with Join FS. So we'll still see you. All right. Let us know. Next up, then we talk about holding and then we talk about missed approaches. We're not touching on these just yet. This is here just for reference. So if the airports are very busy, you could be instructed to enter a hold. And there's usually different restrictions depending on the country. A hold is basically a holding pattern. It's a holding pattern. You're staying in this one area until the controller says otherwise. Just stay in there for a while. And that can happen for a lot of reasons. In the real world, it could be weather, it could be congestion, there could be an issue on the runway. All these things come into it. In the likes of VATSIM, well, it could be very busy. They're trying to get departures out. Depends on how many runways there are, all this sort of stuff. Or the controller could be busy, or the controller might have to step out for 10 minutes. We're human, all right? So you might get an instruction to hold. If you do start jumping onto VATSIM at this stage of our course, read over the holding process because you can get a hold. And at least if you read through it, you'll have a better idea of how to anticipate it. So just have a read through it. This graph here, it just shows you some of the different entries into a hold. Well, you have direct, teardrop, or parallel. Just read through it. It goes through in fairly good detail what to do next. Missed approach. This is important. It was often said, there's no such thing as landing. What you're trying to do is a successful... What's the word? It's not about I want to land. No, you want to do a a safe crash or something. That's the idea, right? You want to execute a landing. Missed approach, basically, if you encounter conditions preventing a successful landing, if you're coming in too fast, if you're coming in too high, you know, you're not where you need to be, the aircraft isn't stable, it's a go around. You call it going around. You know, if someone, for whatever reason, you know, is on the runway and you've been cleared and you think, hang on, I'm going to hit this fella, you go around. And that's where the simulation comes in. You don't just plow through them. No, I got to go around, you know, and the controllers will have to deal with that. We'll focus on this later on in the course. For now, just be aware of it. If things are going terribly wrong, they won't really happen on tonight because, well, you're over to UNICOM. Next week, when you're doing an arrival, that's what lesson 3 is going to be. We'll focus on this a little bit more. And then, well, what do we do with a missed approach? Can we just do what we want, or what do we do? Thankfully, because we're IFR, instrument flight rules is a lot more strict in terms of you will do this, then you will do that. VFR, it's a lot more complex. We need to be aware of so many things when we're in a VFR environment because we're looking out. We're checking for weather, we're checking for traffic, we're checking for landmarks. We have to do so many things. We need to make sure we stay out of airspace, stay under airspace, all the sort of jazz. IFR, relatively more straightforward. It's more linear. But the importance of you knowing what to do when told or asked to do it is so vitally important. And that's why, you know, aircraft proficiency is important. Know the aircraft. How do I get the thing to do the thing? That's what we need to focus on. The good news when it comes to a missed approach, all the charts, every chart will have a published missed approach, right? And if you can't find it, let me know. And it could be written somewhere else. It could be in a note, it could be somewhere else. But this one here, for example, for Shannon on runway 06 for the ILS, well, the missed approach is climb straight ahead to November 005, climbing to altitude 4,000 feet. Then you turn left at a maximum speed of 220 knots inbound to the VOR to initiate another go-around. Now, looking at the chart, you might be saying, what is this fella talking about? Well, let's look at the chart. Let's look at our direction. The chart is always printed in such a way that it is north, south, east, and west, looking at the chart. Okay, so we know that the northeast is up here. Okay, therefore, if we go back to our, 360 degrees, well, if 0 is here and 90 is here, well, 06 is up there. Yeah, 06. 90 is here. So, it's halfway. 180 is down here. You get the idea. But anyway, so we're facing this direction. We're pointed up this way. We're going from the bottom left up to the top right. Okay, so our missed approach is, if things aren't stable, it's going to say, right, we will climb to 4,000 feet and we're going to climb straight ahead until we get to November 005, which is us around here. Then you can see the VOR. See the VOR? That's a VOR. It's presented by a radial, a round circle with dots or lines going in different directions. And then you can see where November 005 is, and you can see that there is a left turn. And then if you look at the chart, you can kind of say, well, if I turn around up here, well, I can kind of go back down this way. Of course you can. Absolutely, of course you can. But at this stage, you'll be talking to the tower, Firefly 235 going around. They'll say proceed. They might tell you, go around via the missed approach, or they might vector you. They might say, okay, I'll look after you. Fly runway heading, climb 4,000 feet. Grand. Pff, you're flying along. Then they'll say left turn over to 270 degrees. You get the idea. ATC will tell you, or they'll just say fly via the published missed approach. But anyway, I digress. IFR communication. So I've already spoken about this, the IFR Clearance check sheet. It's there for Tier 2 and Tier 3 members for free, or you can pick it up over on our website for €1. If you already have the old version and you want to get the new version, just drop me a DM. Now, when it comes to our communication, expecting the expected. We expect the expected. There's a lot of kind of repetition when it comes to ATC communication. There really is. And that's why if you were ever to listen to VATSIM or even the real world, they talk so fast. And it's because, well, it's scripted. They know exactly what's coming next for the most part. Right? So that's why they tend to talk fast. And just give it a bit of time, you will too. You'll be rattling this off before you'll be saying it in your sleep, with your partner beside you, present day partner beside you. Shut up, make a noise, But anyway, what we say is expect the expected. each stage we need to prepare ourselves for what's happening next. So for instance, if we're going to be talking to delivery, well, we're not going to get a taxi clearance. We're just going to get our flight plan and our clearance read back to us. We need to repeat it. We don't need to worry about, what's my speed going to be and where am I looking. You don't need to worry about that yet. Likewise, when you're talking to ground and you want to push and start, well, once I push and start, the next phase, I need to taxi. After I taxi, I need to get onto the runway. Then I need to talk to tower because I want to take off. Then I need to talk to someone else because I've left that area. So you're expecting what's happening next. All right. So clearance. We looked at this last week. So who are you? Sorry, who are you talking to? Who are you? What are you? Where are you? What do you know? And what do you want? So I'll explain what this is. Who are you talking to? We start off by saying the station we are calling. So in tonight's case, it's going to be Shannon Delivery. Okay, that's the station we're talking to. Who are you? Well, that's us. Who am I? Well, I'm Firefly 235. What are you? I'm a very good looking fella with blonde hair. No, you're not. You're in an Airbus A320 or you're in a Boeing 737 or whatever your aircraft is. That's what you are. Okay. Where are you? I'm over here beyond the cattle shed, beside the tractor. No. Reference the chart. I am on stand 30 or I'm on stand 28 or I'm at parking 15 or I'm at the general aviation parking or I'm at the Atlantic FBO. Via the chart, you're telling them exactly where it is you are because they're looking at their scope. Where is he? Oh, he's over there. Gotcha. Right? What do you know? I know many things. No. They're looking, do you have the current ATIS information, the Automatic Terminal Information Service? Effectively, do you have the weather and are you au fait with what's going on with active runways and so on and so on? Shirley Dev, it's your screen. You need to do color correction. I've a beautiful peroxide blonde hair, right? So we'll get the ATIS. I'll show you how to do that now in a second. So that's what do we know? So in our case, we'll say information Bravo on board. And then, what do you want? Packet of chips? No. You're going to communicate your request or your intentions. So let me just talk you through this. Who, what, where, what, and what. And a big shout out here to Dave, 757 Spy, because this is what Dave does, but he's following this is what they do in the real world. So it'll sound something like this. Shannon Delivery, Firefly 235 is an Airbus A320. Stand 30, information Bravo, request IFR clearance to Cork. That's it. Who am I talking to? Who am I? What am I? Where am I? What do I know? And what do I want? Simples. What we think. Moving on. Now, let's see. That's all cool. That's all to do with our clearance. We did all that last week. Push and start now. That's going to be the next thing. So once we're after getting our clearance back, so we'll say all this to Shannon Delivery, for instance, right? And that's all tickety-boo. And they'll jump back and say something like this, Firefly 235, Shannon Delivery. You are cleared to Cork, the Curtin 3 Bravo departure, runway 24, squawk 6466. Now I have to read it back. Volume was really low. I don't believe... Oh, wait, hang on. Is that better? That's better. Thanks, lads. Firefly 235, Shannon Ground. Clear to Cork on the Curtin 3 Bravo departure, runway 24. Initial climb altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 6612. And then I jump back and I'd say, clear to Cork on the Curtin 3 Bravo departure, runway 24. Initial climb altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 6612, Firefly 235. Firefly 235, read back correct, call for push and start. Wilco. Now, call for push and start is going to be done differently tonight because, we're talking delivery to ground to tower. But that's all in the lesson plan. We'll have a look at it there now, right? So, sounds awful. Never mind. Thanks, Ashley. Sorry, I forgot to press the button. Anyway, so that's our clearance. Then we get a push and start. Now, a push and start, how are we going to manage this? So, if we're looking at a push and start, procedure, depending on where our location is. So I'm parked miles away from everyone tonight. So let's just zoomage in here for a moment, right? And let's say, for example, we want to push here. We're on stand 30, okay? So here's stand 30. So ATC is going to say, push and start approved, and they might give us a direction to face. Or they might give us something called a TRP, a tug release point. Depends on the aircraft, and that's why it's vital to look at your charts beforehand, but more importantly, we'll have a listen to see what other folks are doing. You know what I mean? They'll let you know what other people are doing, okay? So, for example, I'll call up Shannon ground at this stage, so I'll say Shannon ground, Firefly 235, request push and start on stand 30. Firefly 235, push and start approved, facing west. Push and start approved, facing west, Firefly 235. Okay, so I need to be facing west. So my push is going to be from the stand, right? Now, if I'm looking at things, I'm now facing south. And how I know this, if you're unsure, look at your chart. It'll show you the direction of your aircraft. Your compass is going to tell you. So he wants me to face west. Therefore, when I push back, he wants my aircraft facing this way. Yeah? He wants me facing this way. Now, here's a bit of vital information. When it comes to a pushback, let's look at Shannon, for example. You have a lot of space between where your aircraft is stopped to where the active taxiway is. Don't push back directly onto a main taxiway. Unless you're told that way, you could have a tug release point. But like, basically, you just want to be pushed back so you're clear of other aircraft, and then you can maneuver to a taxiway after that. But you just need to be aware of it. It'll change from airport to airport. But the main thing you're looking for here is, as you're pushing back, you want to make sure that you're not going to block another aircraft. Or in saying that, well, maybe you need to block another aircraft, and then ATC will tell the other aircraft, you know, hold position. There's a Firefly 235 pushing back. This is where us as pilots, we are that extra set of eyes and ears to help out ATC. If we see something, we'll just stop and call up ATC. It can happen. We're human. It can happen. And it depends on how busy the controller is as well. All right. And then depending on the airport, you have things like links, you have outers, inners, you have tug release points, you have a whole load of different stuff. Just have a look at the charts where you're getting a taxi to and from. So, you know, if I was going from 30 and I wanted to end up facing west, we'd start swinging just around here. We wouldn't be blocking the actual taxiway if it's busy. If it's not busy and there's a slot and we're out ahead of someone else, well, yeah, 100% you can. You know what I mean? It varies from airport to airport, but what I'm saying is just be aware of it. That's all. All right. So that's pretty much your push and start. Now, we have a couple of tools. So in GSX, for example, in GSX, we can tell GSX to push us into a predefined location. We can also do the same on Pushback Pro. If you have Pushback Pro or Better Pushback, whatever it's called, you have these options how to do it. Failing that, and don't ever be worried, failing that, if it goes like belly over and you just make a mess, try not to worry. The old Shift and P is the default Asobo Microsoft. That'll just start pushing back your aircraft in a straight line. Worst case scenario, just do that and then apply the minutiae of power, just enough so you can actually move your aircraft and face it in the correct direction. That's quite okay. But like, you don't want to be traveling any more than a couple of feet in either direction, because then Tower will be like, hey, what are you doing? Are you taxiing? Know what I mean? Like, don't get up to like 6 or 7 knots taxiing speed. But if you can only do a straight push, for whatever reason, just do your straight push and then you can turn. Manually turn. Worst case scenario. All right? So see what happens. Like, I've seen people disconnect from a flight because, you know, the pushback stopped them. And I was like, well, just carry on with the push. You're fine. It's totally fine. You don't want to be using slew mode, but like, if you just want to face a direction and like it's pushed you in a straight line back to here, just turn. If the aircraft, it's going to be powered up at this stage, just turn the devil. Don't crash into anyone and don't go beyond a couple of feet. Don't start moving in a direction. Just turn the aircraft. Easiest way. Or be fancy. Put it into reverse thrust. But don't, like, it's not a reason to disconnect. Do you know what I mean? Not a reason to disconnect. So, moving on. That's our push. Once we get our push, next up then we need to request a taxi. And depending on what the active runway is, we'll hear it in the ATIS, we'll hear it from clearance. They're going to tell us what the active runway is. So how do we get to the active runway? Again, we got to study our charts. In Shannon, we have the main taxiways will be Alpha and the Deltas. The Deltas are up here on this side. Alpha is over here, over on that side. But depending on what runway you're going for, you could get the 11s. So it could be Bravo, Charlie and Alpha, turning right on Hotel and then turning left. Right, you can get all that. So you just want to keep an eye on your charts of what to do. Now for this, Navigraph is like my absolute favorite. I think it is the absolute best you can get in terms of chart access. However, if you don't have the means in which to have Navigraph, there are some freeware options. If you're registered on VATSIM, you have access to ChartFox. It's free. They might not have the latest data, but you can still jump in there and get access to these charts. Also, have a look at the local real-world charts. For example, I've linked there to Shannon AIP or to Ireland AIP, and you can actually get access to these charts as well. You mightn't be able to do much with them, but they're highly detailed charts, the real-world stuff. But you can see here, so, you know, here's Delta 1, Delta 2, all the way up to runway 24, or you could get Delta 2 Charlie, hold short, or you could get, you know, 11 Bravo, Alpha Charlie, Hotel 2. You'll get an idea. Now, there was a question asked, I think Dougal asked it the other day. Navigraph are just about to release an update that we can actually draw on our charts. It's not available yet, but it will be coming in soon. Country name plus AIP into Google. Yeah, there you go. So Shannon is confused with the taxi. It's actually not too bad. So if the active runway is 06, yeah, if the active runway is 06, you're going to taxi Alpha, nowhere else, right? Now, depending, there is one little thing to notice, and we only copped this last night. Shannon has an extremely long runway. It's huge. It was designed to take a space shuttle, would you believe, as an emergency landing facility. But depending on your aircraft, you might be told to do an intersection departure, meaning that you're going to depart the runway as you enter it from Alpha and head straight out, or you might get an instruction to back taxi and line up and wait, or taxi into position. You might get that. Back taxi. So they're basically saying taxi back the way to the start of the runway, please. All right. If you're going out of 2-4, a little bit easier. Tower might instruct you, or sorry, ground might instruct you to go Charlie, or he might ask you to go Delta. Doesn't really matter. There is, like, you'll get pretty much anything off the ground from a Charlie departure at Shannon. You'll get a 7-4 off the ground. You can nearly get A320s and 7-3s from Alpha. So don't worry about it too much. Just know the limit of your aircraft. It's highly unlikely, but it can happen. Tower might give you an intersection departure. No, I can't do that. Unable, you know. And okay, they'll figure it out. They'll get you back somewhere else. All right. So that's going to be for our taxi purposes. And you got to write this stuff down. Just write it down, because there's nothing worse. What did he say? I want to forget what I'm going to say. The kettle's after boiling and the cat's after, you know, coughing up a hairball. Turn it all off. Write the stuff down so it's helpful, and like you stay ahead of what's happening next. That's the game. Just stay one step ahead. The rest of it kind of just falls into place. It's like the first time you drive a manual car. You know what I mean? But yes, let me see. Romanian, good to see you. Now, where are we at? Who was this? Lee Batros, you're very welcome in. Welcome in, lads. So yeah, so if anyone is, I will ask, lads, if anyone is on the ground at Shannon, can you please jump over to North Europe, because our scopes make noises if you're not on the right server, and it just delays us because we need to isolate you and all this. So just make sure you're on North Europe server. If you're not taking part in this, well, don't be on North Europe and don't be on Southeast Asia, please. Just pick somewhere else, if you wouldn't mind, just for this, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes. So there are our charts, right? And that's going to be our taxi. So once we taxi and we get our taxi clearance, at that stage, then we're going to be having a yap to the tower, and the tower are going to tell us what to do next. Now, conditional clearances. This is where we need to spend a bit of time, because not every taxi instruction is as clear or as easy. And especially when you start off, choose airports that are relatively simple. You know, you don't have to use multiple lines to get to where you need to get. You know, short and sweet, that's what you want. But you have what are called conditional clearances, and they can happen for your clearance, your push and start, your taxi, your takeoff. Any clearance can be conditional. And this is where local controllers, and local as in different countries, they might throw something at you. For example, you could hear, for example, this one here, right? I've just received taxi clearance and 235 requesting a pushback. The controller's transmission might be along the lines of this. Firefly 235, after the Aer Lingus A320 passes behind from right to left, push and start approved, facing west, QNH 1013. Jesus. Okay, so after the Aer Lingus A320 passes behind me from right to left, then I can push and start, and he wants me to face west as well. So you can see it here, look. I'm on the stand. Zoom in there, Murphy. I'm on the stand here, and I want to push back. And he's saying, listen, he could say, call me back in a minute, or he could just say, listen, there's an Aer Lingus behind you. He's traveling from right to left. When he passes you, then you are cleared to push and start, and we want you facing west. Does that make sense? It makes sense looking at it. Otherwise, you're going to back straight into him, and Jesus. Do you know what I mean? So that's known as a conditional clearance. All right. If you're in doubt, just say to the controller, say again. And if you're really stuck, as I said, and you don't want to make a bit of an ass of yourself over the frequency, you can drop the controller a message by text using the vPilot application. Hey man, what do we do here? You know what I mean? Or just say, I'm a new pilot. I don't fully understand. Can you explain that to me? And they might talk to you, or they might just send you a message. Just apply a bit of, I'll try it this way. But don't try and do something if you don't know what they want you to do. Because what are you doing? You know what I mean? There's a couple of more conditions here. You'll have a look. And Adam helped me out with these. So here's one here. Firefly 235 is instructed to hold short at link 4. And the controller may provide further instructions such as at link 4 after the Aer Lingus 320 passes, taxi, link 4, hotel 1, and so on. But basically, they might hold you at a location. Or they might say, Firefly 235, give way to the A320 on the taxiway, follow them, taxi or whatever, follow them to the whole short line. Because you'd be able to see them. Do you know what I mean? Just be aware you mightn't hear exactly taxi, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, whole short. There's going to be a couple of conditional clearances thrown in there. It's just to make you aware of it. Us as pilots, all we need to do, read back our instruction and make sure we understand what we're to do. If in doubt, say again, please. Drop a message on vPilot. That's it. It's once you follow that, you're grand. Controllers would they would 100% rather explain something a second time than having to react to an aircraft doing something that they haven't authorized. All right. So you get the idea. You might have conditional lineup clearances as well. And this is absolutely critical. This is something you need to be aware of because these hold short lines, right? We're looking at Dublin here specifically, but you can see there are published hold short lines. People forget this a lot. They go past the hold short line and next thing there's all sorts of crack. So if I'm going to give, condition or clearances this evening, I'm going to say hold short runway 24 at Charlie. This is where the hold short line is. You don't exceed that line at all. That's it. No further. The line must be drawn there, which it is, right? There's markings here in Shannon. A few airports in the world have them. Seemingly they're getting rolled out. See these checkered boxes or these boxes here? You're not clear of the threshold. You're not clear of the runway until you passed these lines. Just be aware of that. We'll look at that more in the arrivals, right? But put it this way. The reason why these lines are here, these particular lines, let's say, for example, you've just vacated the runway and your nose wheel has passed this line and you're stopped here. Well, depending on the friggin' size of your airplane, you could still be protruding onto that runway, making it unsafe. So some airports, depending on the distance that they have these, sorry for my camera, have these lines here. So you're not actually vacated until you pass these. Just be aware of that. When you're holding short to depart, you can go up to the line, but do not pass that line. Now, other airports, they might have, big, massive flashing boxes with lights, the whole short line, right? They might have traffic light systems I've seen. It'll be all red. And then when the controller gives you a green light, it actually turns green. There's a couple of differences here, but just know this is the limit or how far you can go until told otherwise. Okay? Hold short of the lines. And that's what a hold short line looks like. Anyone who drives, you'll say, okay, you have a continuous white line on your side, you don't have the right of way. You have a broken line on the far side, you're okay to go. That makes sense? If we look at another hold short, which is over here, again, there's a little bit more information going on because we have airport signage and we have lighting and all this sort of jazz. Now look at this. We have two kind of hold short lines. What's this all about? Well, this is to do with different categories of aircraft. Category landing, category takeoff, so on and so forth. But your question is, where are you going to hold short for departure? This is the guy right here. You hold short at this line. Do not pass that line at all. VATSIM controllers get ticked when this happens because you're creating a headache. You know what I mean? And as I said, different airports will have different signage. They'll have different lighting, all that sort of jazz. Just to be aware of it, right? So the other line is for vacate the runway. It's used for category 3 as well. Just remember, when you see these boxes here, you're not clear to the runway until you've passed these coming in. But we'll get through arrivals next week. Alrighty. The other lines then, as my sim is doing a thing, the other lines, they're not necessarily hold points. You can get these limits, and they could be to do with the area of control of that controller to say, okay, the ground stops here, and we're going to give over the tower there. Don't worry about them unless they were published. And in this case, they're not published. There's various holding points. There's various hold short points. There's a whole load of stuff at different airports. All the answers are in your charts. Study your charts. Have a good read down through your charts. And again, just have a listen to what else is happening at the airport when you're starting off. The rest of this, it'll become second nature to you. You'll absolutely fly through it. Pun intended, right? So, how we go now? Right. So, where's my document? So this is the conditional stuff. Now, taxi clearance, again, we've had a quick talk about it. And I'll go through, as I said, a full demonstration of what's happening here now in a moment. When you request your taxi, so in Ireland and the ICAO, you rarely get taxi runway 24 via this, and this. They do that in America. In Europe, they tend to say taxi Alpha, hold short runway 6, or taxi Delta 2, Delta 1, Charlie, hold short runway 24. Right? It's not like taxi 24 via. They're just different sayings. That's all. You don't need to worry about it. But the controllers will figure out what you're trying to do. It's one of those pet hates, right? It's, you know, when you contact ATC, you know, Firefly 235 with you, flight level 230. What's the with? You don't need to say the with you. Like, you're adding chatter in there. There's no need for it. Yeah, you're not going to, you mightn't upset anyone, but you don't need to have it in there. And like, you'll hear, if you were to tune into VATSIM right now and listen to someone in Dublin, the lads are very friendly. They'll say, Firefly 235, good afternoon, Dublin ground. And they'll have a bit of a how are you. For this, we're just sticking primarily to, you know, it's very kind of regimental on the script, because this is the information you must pass on. You must pass on this information. The hello, good day, thanks for that, how's your sister? All of that stuff can come later, right? But this is the stuff we need to focus on. All right. So then we have our takeoff, and your takeoff instruction could be, you know, at such altitude, contact departure, or at such an altitude, monitor UNICOM, whatever. They're going to tell you in advance of what to do. Okay. Okay. Now that's your departure, you're en route, and then it goes into your arrival. How do you descend? So on and so on. We'll focus more on those next week. Tonight is primarily getting ourselves our clearance, pushback, taxi, takeoff, UNICOM. That's what we're doing tonight. All right. Again, have a read down through some of the changes, the difference between Europe and the United States. There are differences. They're not like, I did it totally wrong. There's just kind of different ways around it. All right. So just be aware of it. Just to be aware of it. Have a read down through them. I won't go through it again tonight. We touched on it last week. Now, your flying competence, again, learning the aircraft, fly the route a couple of times offline with no ATC. You'll start figuring out things. Energy management is a big thing when it comes to the bigger aircraft. How do you slow them down? How do you get them up to speed? All that stuff. So practice offline, right? And then we have our airport etiquette. It's unlike a group flight. You got to give way. You got to give plenty of space to everything around you. Don't do, you know, it's a race taxi. Take your time. At the same time, don't hold up the shop. When you're taxiing in an airliner, ideally, you're going to taxi anywhere between 12 and 16 knots. Ideally, 12 to 16 knots. You can go a little bit faster, right? But definitely not over 24 knots. That's just like, holy crap. Some airports allow it, but like then it'd be like high speed taxi and so on, so on. All right. Tug release points, again, be aware of them. They have them in Dublin. I haven't seen them in Shannon. And then know when you are transferring to the next station. There are differences between monitor and contact. So if they say monitor Shannon Tower or monitor Shannon Approach, You just monitor them. You don't talk to them. You monitor them. If they say contact Shannon approach, you tune them, you call them up, and you say, how are you? If you monitor them, you don't say anything. They'll talk to you if they need you. And then you might say contact tower or contact approach, call sign only. Huh? Okay. So you're going to tune into approach. Then you say Shannon approach, Firefly 235. That's it. Okay, I got you. I can hear you. That's what they mean. So there are a couple of differences there, right? The bot keeps blocking whole short line. Taxi clearance and movements. Again, minimize apron and taxiway congestion. ATC appreciate if you taxi as soon as possible after you get your taxi clearance. And that's again down to your etiquette. If you get a push and start, push. If you get your taxi, start taxiing. And pay attention to what's on the ground around you. Don't skip ahead of someone. Don't jump ahead of someone. If there's a problem, call up the tower. But like, you don't want to be a Karen or an agony aunt. Just like, let the thing flow. But don't taxi at, 2 knots for 6 miles. You know what I mean? It'll just get messy. Right of way on the ground. Again, if things go wrong, if there's a mishap, what happens? If there's an aircraft coming at you, you're both, for whatever reason, on the same taxiway, what do we do? Well, the rule is quite simple. Turn right and slow down. Both aircraft turn to their own respective right. So if I'm heading this way, I go that way. If I'm heading this way, I go that way. You turn to your right, meaning that the aircraft will do this or that. Yeah, they'll do that. Do you get me? Anyway, it's rare that would happen. It could happen on UNICOM. Very rare it would happen on VATSIM. But it can happen. Then we have departures. ATC assume that every aircraft at the runway holding point is able to line up and start takeoff roll immediately. When you call to say I'm holding short, you are ready to rock. Your lights are set, transponder is on, your flaps are set, your passengers are sitting down, you're ready to go. You're not going to say, I just now need to get me trim set up and then I need to get myself a glass of a tasty beverage. No, when you're calling to say I'm now holding short, ready for departure, you're good to go because they might give you an immediate departure, or, clear takeoff, no delay. Basically, they're saying, get up quick, right? So just be aware of that. Same with arrivals, the whole shebang. So our taxiway limits, have a look at this here, right? I won't delve into it too much. I've put all the pictures up here for you, but you have your taxiway edge markings, your intermediate holding points, what they look like, right? The markings for entering a runway, the category 2 or 3 holding point. So if you're category 3 or category 2, that's what that second box looks like, by the way. That line doesn't necessarily mean you've cleared the runway. No. That's for Cat 2 or Cat 3. They're holding points. Yeah. Enhanced taxiway center line. What does it mean? And why is it done in such a way? Have a read down through them. The big X basically means don't go this direction. And Shannon has taxiways that are not active. I'll show you them here. If they load. So they won't load. But you can kind of see where the issue is here. So when we taxi up this direction, we cannot turn, we can't turn left and we can't go straight on because these aren't used. There should be yellow X's down here. You can't really see them. You can see them there on the runway and you can see them up here. That's basically meaning this taxiway doesn't work. It's off. It's broken. So they turn you right. The taxiway continues to the right. And there's signage here as well. You get up the next one to say, okay, well, Delta 2 is to your left. Hotel 1 is straight ahead if you're heading to the FBO, and Delta 2 is on your right. So, okay, taxiway ahead, yeah, swing it on in and continue on again. Just to be aware of that, right? Try not to go into an area where the taxiway is closed off. For all you know, that could be used as parking. It could be used for training. There could be repairs. You just don't know, so you don't enter there. All right? And in Shannon, they tend to leave them sit there. They usually put aircraft there. All right? So that's what we mean by them. Now, moving on. We're nearly there now, lads. You're doing well. You're doing very well. Then we have the mandatory instruction markings. So this consists of a red background with a white inscription. As the figure shows, we can find the runway numbers and warning messages in order to minimize runway incursions. So it's telling us you have a runway ahead. Okay, runway ahead. Okay. Information marking, where it's impractical to place information signs, which would make sense because an aircraft could hit the sign. We've seen that on Microsoft Flight Sim, taxiway lights and signage all over the shop. But some of the more custom airports, well, they fix a lot of that. But you'll also have markings on the ground. You could have a lump of paint on the ground saying, up this way. Ah, grand, that's where I go. All right. In addition to the taxiway markings, we also have the aerodrome markings. And in this, it'll indicate to say you're on a taxiway or you're on a runway, or, you know, category 3 is here, or you're at a holding point, or do not enter sign. All right. So you just be aware of all of these things, because you could see them. Some sceneries are better than others for having good taxi information. But on VATSIM, again, they're following the charts. The charts are following what the real data of the airport has. So just be aware of it. Information signs, again, these are just letting you know where you are. You know, this one here, for example, well, Bravo is to your right. Runway 27 is on your right. Right? Takeoff run available distance. This is if you're at an intersection, 2,500 meters. So if you were to say, right, we're in Shannon, and if I want to do an intersection departure down here at runway 6, well, you'll notice that there's no signage here. Now, in the real world, there's a little sign in that little spot right there, and it actually tells you what the takeoff clearance is. However, if you're unsure, well, you can go into your chart, you see. So Navigraph, and let's have a look at our charts here. So if I go to airport, we go Shannon, open up the charts. We're going to look at the taxiway. If we look at the airport information, open up the chart. Make it a little bit easier. Oh no, don't pin it. How do I just open the chart? Ah, here we go. All right. So we can see here, right? So if we're looking at the total length, it's 10,495 feet. Like, it's absolutely friggin' huge is this runway. You'd never need that. Typically, a Boeing 737 needs about 4,000 feet. Typically, that's kind of where it's at. Hey, Pilot Peely, good to see you. So you will get information to say, look, ATC boundary, okay. Where are we looking at here now? Additional runway information. That's what we're looking at. Takeoff run available, runway 6. From runway head, so from the runway heading, you have 10,495 feet. Do you guys see that here? Yeah. However, taxiway A intersection, taxiway alpha intersection for runway 06, that'll give you 6,782 feet. Bearing in mind, a 737 only needs 4,000, an A320 needs about 4,400. You get the idea. You get the idea. All right. From 24 is something similar. Your total length from the very start of the runway is 10,495. From taxi Charlie intersection, 8,868. Or taxiway Delta 2 intersection, it's 9,993. Do we follow? If we cannot see the sign, have a look at the airport chart. It's going to tell you the TORA, TORA, your takeoff run available. How much space is there between here and here? This is something that can catch people out quite a lot. And it caught me out last night. We were practicing and we kind of said, oh, Jesus, I forgot about this back taxi malark. So it's just something, be aware of it. Be aware of it. All right. So they're always going to be on your charts. And they should be signed on the airport as well. Depends on the airport scenery. It depends what data, the developers had when they had it. But just to be aware, it exists. All right. So hopefully this is all making loads of sense to you now, and sure, we're all having the crack, and we continue on. So what else do we have here now? So again, the VATSIM top down. I'm sure you guys are happy enough with that. This is our first lesson we did last week. It was all about getting our clearance and how do we manage to do our flight plan. I'm going to go through start to finish now here in a moment. And let's see here now. Gibbo, I'm just wondering, we can do the Gibbo and Rambog, we can do the test thingy from probably our own chat rather than jumping into everyone else when I jump on for clearance. Just in case there's other people, in the channel, let me know what you think. But we can use our own little chat if you just want to do delivery and tower. But anyway, lesson 2, folks. This is what we're doing tonight. So, our second IFR lesson will see us using ATC voice activity. The objective here is to communicate to ATC whilst at Shannon. Once we depart the airport, we will move to UNICOM, and that'll mark the end of this lesson. All right? Once our pilots are more than welcome to complete their entire flight, continue on if you'd like on UNICOM, but you're going to remain on UNICOM. We won't have any control on you. That happens a lot on VATSIM, right? I mean, you'll depart your airport, you'll leave the zone, and that's the end of it then. Good luck on the cup. It happens, right? It happens. So, We're going to be departing from Shannon Airport and our planned arrival is going to be Cork. There will be ATC coverage for departure of the flight at Shannon, but once we leave the zone, all communication will move over to UNICOM. This lesson is broken down into 4 parts, with each part having some additional sections. Part 1, we're going to plan our flight. Part 2, we're going to file our flight plan. Part 3, we're going to fly it. And Part 4, we're going to review it. This is the same kind of system that we did for the VFR stuff. I break things down into 4 little parts and we can practice then ourselves. So in this section, we're going to be using Navigraph, Sky Vector, and some charts to plan our location and our route if you don't have Navigraph. And we're going to use SimBrief to create the flight plan. We're going to, we can check SimAware for using VATSIM, and we're going to file our flight plan on the Two Tone Murphy website. So let's start with all of this, shall we? So what am I looking for here now? So we keep that one open because I need you. And I'm going to go back into here. And I'm going to go to SimBrief. And we're going to start getting ourselves ready. Now, while we're getting ready, it's important to know, well, you know, what airport, what's happening, what's the weather, what's it doing, and so on and so forth. So the first thing I need to do, lads, well, I need to listen to the ATIS. It goes without saying, I need the ATIS. So our ATIS channel is located inside our Discord, which is super handy. So if we bring up Discord, one second now. So into Discord. And we're going to go down to our ATC. Here's a Discord channel, all right? And down here on the left-hand side, this is where the IFR course is. I can see everyone here in the ATC lounge. Good to see you, lads. We got a couple of people on Shannon ATIS. They're listening to the ATIS channel here as well. So I'm going to jump into this and have a listen to what's happening here at Shannon. So we need to write down the information. So have a listen.
Advise controller on initial contact that you have information echo. Shannon Airport information echo. 2100 Zulu. Wind 190 at 16 knots. Visibility 10 or more kilometers. Few clouds at 1000, scattered clouds at 1500, ceiling 1800 broken. Temperature 12 dew point 11. QNH 1013 hectopascals. Landing and departing runway 24. Murph fell out of the chair. Expect delays. Advise controller on initial contact that you have information echo.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
So we need information echo. That is information echo. All right, so that's my ATIS cleared. Happy days. We have ATIS. Now let me see. Colonel Fork! God almighty, great to see you. 44 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. I really enjoyed your flying around Shannon yesterday. My radar screen was doing all sorts of stuff. Brilliant. Great to see you. Right, okay, so are we going okay? Are we getting echoes? Are we getting problems? Now, I thought it was information Bubba, right? Okay, so what do we need to do here? Yes, so we need to file our flight plan. So this is SimBrief. This is free. If you link it to your Navigraph, you're going to get all the up-to-date charts and whatnot. So I'm going to fill this out and we're going to take the information from SimBrief and then we're going to jump it into our website. Okay, because that's what we do. So my airline ICAO code is Foxtrot Foxtrot Alpha Firefly. My number is 235. We are departing Shannon. We want to arrive to Cork. And my aircraft type is an Airbus A320-200 variant, and I'm going to select the IAE engines. Now, let's have a look. So it's given me the Curragh 3 Bravo, runway 24, and it's going to give me an arrival into runway 16. So that's how it looks like here. Yeah, I'm fairly okay with that. Sure, let's go for it. I don't need to make much changes in here. I can edit all these things. Again, it's in the manual. See the scheduled block time? 50 minutes. That's how long it's going to take me to fly the whole thing. We'll have fuel on board for probably 2 hours, depending. So I'm going to generate the flight. And then we're going to ramble this into our flight plan page. And I'm going to go through all of this here now with you. So let's have a look. The route is what I want. I'm going to copy this route here. Okay, copy all this. And let's have a look. Where's my alternate going to be? So my alternate is back to Dublin. So we need to plan that we have sufficient fuel on board to get us back to Dublin. Now, we don't need to go to Dublin. We can replan this and put our alternate into Kerry, for example, or Waterford if we had to. But by and large, Dublin being the most probable airport to divert to because, well, there's more logistics there to get you to and from, so on and so forth. All right. So let's populate this. This is the flight plan. My call sign is Firefly Air 235. My flight rules, I'm IFR. My aircraft, I'm in an Airbus A320. My weight category, it's medium. Again, this will be on your flight plan if you need to go looking for it on SimBrief. It'll show you what your weight category is. My departure is Shannon. Off the block time, I'm going to be pulling out of here, let's say 21:45. My altitude for the flight, again, go into SimBrief. What will be giving me? Initial altitude 5,000. Okay, well, is that like... Are we going to go higher? Let's have a look. Now, sometimes the altitudes on SimBrief are a little bit messy. You know, we could get a stop climb. Now, it's highly unlikely you're going to get an Airbus A320 going from Shannon to Cork. I mean, let's be real about things. That's overkill. You're not going to get the passengers. But for this lesson, that's what I'm doing. So 5,000 feet is what my flight plan is giving me. Okay, I'm going to file for 5,000 feet. And let's see what happens. So altitude, 5,000 feet. Airspeed, I don't want to go fast. Why? Because it's super close. So if I reduce my speed, 200 knots that's what I'm going to be traveling at. I'll keep things nice and slow. Arrival is going to be Cork. Alternate is going to be Dublin. En route time is going to be about 30 minutes flying time. And again, you can have a look at that up here. So let's see here now. Airport is grand. Trip, grand. Move down here. All our weights and changes and so on. Block time 49 minutes. Sweet. Then we'll get like how long are we going to be in the sky for? Airborne time. It's about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, give or take. And that'll depend on your airspeed. Of course, the faster you go, well, the quicker you get there. So I'm just going to leave it at 0050, and my fuel endurance is going to be 2 hours. Minimum. I've at least 2 hours. It's important to let ATC know that, because sometimes if they'll see, oh Jesus, this fella only has endurance for 1 hour, well, we're not going to divert him back to England or divert him up to the north of Ireland or divert him to France. Do you know what I mean? That's why it's in there. Now our route, we delete that, we put in our new one, and we have the following. Shannon 24. See this November 0265 Foxtrot? Get rid of that. Don't need that. I just want to say I'm going to depart Shannon on the Curragh 3 Bravo departure via Curragh. The Curragh 1 Romeo arrival for runway 16 in Cork. That's it. I'm now ready to submit my flight plan. Flight plan submitted successfully. Happy day. Right, that's that bit done. Next up. We've just done that. So where are we at now? Lesson 2, Murph, lesson 2. That's lesson 1. Lesson 2. So we have planned our flight and we've now filed our flight plan. Next up, it's going to be the flight. We're doing the flight. All right. So now what we're saying. Oh yeah, I just wanted to find out. Gibbo, will I jump into? Okay, Gibbo's where he needs to be. Perfect. Okay, super. Now let me see. So obtain the ATIS, contact ATC, and I'm going to read this through you. All right. I'll read all this with you. So my aircraft currently, I'm sitting on the ground. GPU is up and running. I don't have the APU turned on yet. So I'm over at West Air. So for Gibbo looking at me thinking, where in the hell is Murph? I'm at West Air. It's the FBO. Again, it's handy knowing where the locations are in and around Shannon. But usually you're either going to be in, general aviation, cargo ramp, or the stands. But for this one, I just happen to be all the way over here. So into my little cockpit I go. And what I'd need to do, I'd be tuning into Shannon delivery. Now, if I was on VATSIM, this is where the radios come in. But because we're on Discord, well, we're just going to jump onto the Discord channel. So I'm going to jump into Discord here now, right? And let's see. I'm just going to pop myself into the Discord channel, which is delivery. And we get a little ping like that, okay? So what's going to happen next, I'm going to call for my clearance. And this is where you need to write stuff down. And remember what I said, expect the expected. But before we call for this, let's go back here and get our aircraft set up. So let's look at my flights, tap to import from SimBrief. That's now saying Shannon to Cork, perfect. If I bring up Navigraph, close this fella here, I can now import my flight from Navigraph because it's going to pick it up from SimBrief. And that's it there, Shannon to Cork. So expect the expected. Well, what are we saying here? Well, I can see my route. We're going to be runway 24 on the Curragh 3 Bravo departure, runway 0 or runway 24, and we're going to Cork. Okay, that's fairly straightforward. So how do we now talk to ATC? What exactly are we going to say to them? Well, you see that there's some changes here now, because for instance, I've highlighted my call sign. Okay, that's not going to change for me. It will for you. I'm not in a Boeing 737, nor am I at stand 30. And information Bravo is not current. So you get the idea. These things will change for every single flight that you do. They'll always change. So don't worry if they change. It's totally fine. They are designed to change. All right. So information, what was it? Foxtrot, I think, is now active. So let's see what happens here now when we talk to ATC. So I'm going to read the script. Shannon delivery, Firefly 235. Do I have the right microphone turned on? Hang on. Yeah, it is. We'll try him again. You could be just busy. Shannon delivery, Firefly 235. Doodle-doo.
Murph, are you able to hear me?
Ah, sure, 'tis yourself. It's working now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
They've done studies.
I can't on Discord.
60% of the time, it works every
Yeah,
time.
stand by. I was just in ATC Lounge and everything was good.
Okay.
So let me see if it's your end or my end.
No bother. That's why we do like this. It can happen. Shannon ground, Firefly 235. Ooh.
Firefly 235, Shannon delivery, pass your message.
Oh, I called him ground. Should have been delivery. Right, we'll go again. Firefly 235, Airbus A320 at West Air, information Foxtrot, request IFR clearance to Cork.
Firefly 235, you're clear to Cork on the Kuru 3 Bravo departure, runway 24, initial climb altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 6235.
And now we just read it back. Cleared to Cork, Kuru 3 Bravo departure, runway 24, initial altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 6235, Firefly 235.
And Firefly 235, read back correct. Contact Shannon ground on 121.8 when ready for push and start.
Well, contact ground on 121.8 when ready for push and start, Firefly 235. Sweet, that's it. So,
Firefly 235, just for you, if you could please change to the Southeast Asia server so we can see in your scope, be appreciated.
Roger, Wilco, Firefly 235. Okay. Turn on your multiplayer, Murph, you big idiot. Right, now, on. Yes, now we're on. Flying settings, and make sure my Euroscope is now connected. And connected, we are connected. Yes, we are. And can I see people's? I can. So they should now be able to see me on the scope, and all should be well. So I've now got my clearance. We're good now, right? So it's a very quick, let's get our aircraft up and running. So what was my squawk there, lads? 62. 62, you know. So we're going 62. Why isn't that working? Transponder, Murph. Okay. 6. Okay, it's working now. So that was 6235. 6235. 6235 is set. Okay. We're going to put it onto on. It's on standby, right? TA will go on once we're ready to get moving, right? So let's have an look here now. So we need to get our aircraft up and running. And it's only when I'm looking for my push, I'll be talking to ground. All right. So at this stage, I'm going to jump into ground. And I'll be talking to myself here now in a moment. So it's time to get the aircraft up and running. So quickly with the Airbus A320, well, a couple of things we can do. So I'm going to get myself set up here. So FMS reset, that's okay. Clear that, and leave that alone. Atsu, in you go. We'll just get this done because this is going to pull the information in from SimBrief, yeah? So we're going to go AOC, flight initialization, initiate, and away we go. FMGC, that's going to come on board here now as well. That's going to initialize. We're going to hit the init, and we're going to request initialization, and that's going to start doing all its own stuff. Init request. That's looking good. That's looking good. And we continue on here with our flows. So get our blowers on. We're going to start powering up the APU. We're going to tell the aircraft we're now fully loaded. So we're going to say wait and balance. We're going to say load the aircraft. Instant load. Aircraft is now loaded. Thank you very much. Ground services. So PCA remove. We can also get the doors and stairs away. And as you can see now, the aircraft is getting ready as we power up the beautiful APU. So that's going to be the next thing. So the flap is open on our APU. We're going to start. And this is all now starting to come online. Back down to our MACDs. And Firefly 235 is my flight number. The information from my flight plan in relation to cost indexing and all that jazz was sure I can grab that from SimBrief. SimBrief. So cost index cruise profile is 18. 18 goes into the gadget. 18. And our cruise altitude is 5,000 feet. Okay, we can now upload the wind, request the wind information. Flap is open, APU is starting to power up. We can see the N percentage and EGT. Gary D. Steele, don't worry about it. This might seem very confusing to people who haven't done this before. I am no different than anyone else. I started off at absolute zero. This course is designed to bring everyone up to my level, which isn't, I'm telling you, it ain't high. I know enough to kind of get me out of trouble, and I don't know enough to get me into trouble, but do you know what I mean? We'll all get to a standard. It's a foundation, sorry, to get us doing what we need to do. All right. So wind information has gone in, super duper. Next page. So we need to get some information over across. So I can put all of this into my MACD. So we go mass and balance, send to the MACD. Thank you. Let's verify that's in. That's now in. Next page. That's looking good. Performance is next. Again, we're going to go back to our little tablet here. We're going to go to our departure, and it's runway 24. Conditions are dry. Sync the load sheet. Flap configuration is going to be 2. Packs are going to be turned on, and sync and calculate. Calculate 136, 136, 140. Send all this into the MACD as well, please. And that's all put in. 2, that's all looking good. That's all looking good. We can derate the engine, don't need to worry about it. Cost index 18, that's all managed. That's looking good. That's looking good. So into our flight plan, and we're going to go from Shannon. We need to put in our departure. We are runway 24, and we're taking the C.R.A.F.T 3 Bravo departure. Go ahead and insert. Now we scroll down until we get to Cork. We go to Cork. We're going to plan our arrival. So it's going to be an ILS for runway 16, and we're going to be taking the Curra 1 Romeo arrival. And we can insert all of this. Now we just go down to our flight plan to identify any discontinuities or discos. We call them discos. We can also take note, our top of descent is going to be after Curra. Okay, so we know we're going to be descending once we get up to around there. All right, that looks good to me. Flight plan looks good to me. And the rest, I think, lads, we're going to be good. So at this stage, APU is going to be running. I'm going to disconnect all my ground stuff. And then we're going to be talking to ATC once again. So quick check up here. APU bleed, activate, ground external power, disconnect. And we'll come over here to our tablet. We'll go to ground services. We're going to ask them to remove the GPU, remove the cones and the chocks. Park and brake is already set. And we continue on here just with our flows of how we want the aircraft set up. So before we get going, a couple of things. We want to make sure that we're on the current Barrow setting because we have information Foxtrot on board. And we can start putting in some information. So our initial altitude is going to be 5,000 feet. Go ahead and pop you in there. Speed, if we wish, we can keep it managed. But I always like to I keep myself in control. Now, as a minimum, you would put in your rotation speed, your V2. But I always put in, I like 200. There are speed constraints in the area. You know, they're going to tell us, hey, don't go above 250 at such and such. All will be well, right? Okay, so we're looking good. Auto brake will set all this up once we have engine start. At this stage, I now need to request
Hello there.
push and start. Now you'll notice I'm not on a stand. I don't need to push. I don't need to push. I just need to start. So I'm going to request a start. Okay? It makes sense. Push and start. You don't need to push and start. I just want to start. That makes sense? So again, we go back into our ground school document and, well, how is what we need to do next going to change? Okay. So that's what we just read with Shannon delivery. Now it's going to be to Shannon ground. So this is how it's all going to sound. We hope. Are we ready? Shannon ground, Firefly 235 at West Air, request startup. Firefly 235, Shannon ground. Startup approved. QNH 1000. Startup approved. QNH 1000. Firefly 235.
Hey, good buddy.
That's it. That's it. Mama, thank you very much indeed for subscribing. But you get the idea, right? This script is there. Everything's highlighted red. These are the things that might change. Now, I'm down at West Air. You guys are probably going to be on stands or gates, right? We call them stands. But that's the idea. I've requested a engine start, and he's given me the QNH. I got to call back to QNH. So it's QNH 1013, or in this case, 1011. Technically, I should be saying hectopascals at the end of it. Hectopascals. You have to repeat that back so they know you're not in inches of mercury. It's hectopascals. That's what we need to say. So technically, I should have said QNH 1000 hectopascals. Okay? Right. Continue on. Time to start up this machine here now. So let's start her up. This is where things get really confusing because we're saying, Jesus, we need to start her up. So ignition, right-hand side. Beacon light, come on. And the rest of it is looking kind of okay for the moment. So we're just waiting now for the bit of spinach on our engines. So they're coming up. The beautiful sounds. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's good. Engine spooling. This is all looking very good. There's a Muppet talking. Do you hear him?
That you snuck on board and feeling very smug with yourself. Well done. But they must be placed into an overhead locker. If you're seated on an emergency exit row, you lucky. All of your items must be placed in an overhead locker, as the floor around you and your seat must be kept completely clear. Your seatbelt must now be fastened for departure.
Who's that fella? He knows the stuff. Okay, engine 1 is available. Sorry, engine 2 is available. We're going to go engine 1. This is all terribly exciting. I never turned on me fasten seatbelts. Sit down there now, lads, and don't make a sound. Okay, so engine 1's coming online. Over here, we can probably start our flaps for takeoff. What did you say, 1 or 2? Balls, I can't remember now. Performance. Dish. Flaps 2, down 4. Now, when it comes to getting yourself ready, your radios, always tune the next radio channel that you're going to be speaking to, have it in the box, right? So I'm currently on ground, which is 121.8, right? So I need to change that. 121.8. And when I want to talk to tower, right? So tower is going to be, where is it now? Bom, bom, bom. 118.7. So we'll go 118.7. So they're now geared up in my little radio. See them down here? So I now know, hey, I'm currently on ground. I will be talking to tower. And as soon as I transfer to tower, I'll have UNICOM dialed in as well. This really helps. Have the next frequency in the box ready to go. All right. Okay, so we're looking good here. That is a good start on both engines. This is all looking good. Packs are now alive, looking good. Auto brake set to max. we can finish up with the APU. Thanks for playing. Get rid of that. We'll shut down the unit. Usually you have to give it about a minute or so, then you can get rid of the bleeds and so on and so forth. Strobes are going to put to auto. We're not allowed taxi yet. We haven't got clearance to taxi. So let's have a look at this. So our next stage here, lads, is going to be taxi clearance. Again, let's have a look at the charts. And we're expecting, because we know it's runway 24, well, I'm over here. So it's going to be Echo 3, Hotel 1, Delta 2, and probably up as far as Charlie. More than likely, that's what I might get. But I could get all the Deltas and hold short runway 24. Doesn't really matter. Once we know where we're at, the rest we'll do ourselves. So it'll sound a little bit something like this. I'm now ready to taxi. I'm good to go. So we'll tune into Shannon ground once again. And we don't need to call the controller who he is. We'll just say the following. Firefly Air 235, request taxi over at West Air. Firefly 235, taxi Echo 3, Hotel 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24. Taxi Echo 3, Hotel 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24, Firefly 235. That's it. Write down the taxi instructions so you know, oh yeah, I need to go this and then that, right? That's important. So we have our taxi clearance. We're now allowed to start move the aircraft. This is super news. So we need to continue on. Are we actually good to start moving? Well, we're going to get some stuff ready. So predicted wind shear goes to auto. At this stage, I'm going to turn on my gadget. We're now on TA, traffic alert, not radar alert. TA, squawk is now active on the squawk that they've given me. And now it's time to start moving. So we're going to put our taxi lights on. Taxi light, runway turn off. And we're pretty much good to go. I think. So, flaps are set. Takeoff configuration, we'll test all that now in a moment when we start moving. Off the brakes. Small bit of power coming in. And now we're just taxiing. So we'll go to our signs. Takeoff configuration. We're looking good. So we're ready for a departure. So we're now going to taxi. I'm looking at the map. This is Echo 3. I'll then turn right onto Hotel 1. And then we'll be jumping over to the tower. Now, I'm staying on the ground frequency and I'm constantly scanning what's going on all around the aircraft. You know what I mean?
I think the cabin is secure for takeoff. Should the lever go up or go down on the doors?
That's the voice that some idiot is talking. Sounds like he knows the stuff. Okay, so here's my taxi out. So this is now Hotel 1. And lads, I'm using Navigraph to track my movements here. It's a moving map. I can put this in the aircraft. I can use the InSim panel to use this as well. But that's what I'm following. And again, I'm going to keep an eye out for the taxi marking. So I need to turn right onto the Deltas. Okay, well, I'm looking ahead. I can't see information on the signage here. It's not particularly good at this airport. But I have an idea what we're doing. I have a good old idea. So we continue on. Watch your speed as well. So you monitor your ground speed. I'm going a little bit too fast, but don't worry for the moment. So here's the sign up here, so we can see right. Hotel 2 is ahead of me. Well, I want to go right onto Delta. So we look, left is clear, we're all right. And we're going to maneuver ourselves now onto Delta 2. My next instruction is ramble on over to Charlie. So there's Delta 2 written on the taxiway ground. You saw that? You know? Welcome in, Aaron. Good to see you.
Yep. We're going the wrong way.
All is well in the realm. Now, we're tuned in to Shannon ground. However, I can monitor Shannon tower. That's the beauty of using most of the ATC stuff. You can listen to, you can be, you know, in communication with one frequency and just listening in on the other one. It's super handy. So we continue our taxi here. Aircraft say everything looks pretty much the way it should in the aircraft. So far, so good. Turning left here now onto Charlie. And again, I'm just keeping my eyes peeled. Keep an eye out, just in case I could have missed something, ATC could have missed something. You're constantly on the lookout for other traffic, just in case something goes wrong. Apply caution, right?
Hello there.
Hello there. Who is this? Brandveer, welcome in. Thank you for the follow, dude. Great to see you. Okay, so here we are. We're approaching the whole short line on Charlie for runway 24. So ease our way into it. We can go right up to the line. And we're going to take ourselves to a full stop. Okay. Now it's time to tell Shannon, ground, where we are, where they asked us to be. Now, don't be afraid if they jump the goat and tell you as you're taxiing, right, jump on over the tower now, I'm finished with you. That could happen, right? So don't worry if it does. Just do what you're told in terms of what the controller is telling you. Do you know what I mean? So, Shannon ground, Firefly 235, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie. Firefly 235, contact Shannon Tower, 118.7. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7, Firefly 235. So there we go, 118.7. And I now jump into the gadget. And now let's see what happens. Shannon Tower, Firefly 235, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie. Maybe that didn't work. We'll try it again. Shannon Tower, Firefly 235, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie.
Firefly 235, line up and wait, runway 24.
Line up and wait, runway 24, Firefly 235. Okay, so remember what I said? Once you're calling, you're ready to go. So all I need to do from this stage, stick on all my lights, and we line up and wait. At this stage, we can go TARA because we've entered the runway. And we're going to do exactly that. Line up and wait. Again, you're checking out for any traffic just to be sure. And we get ourselves into position. At this stage, I'm on their scope. They can see me. But it's good to know that the guys are still here. So, they got this. Okay, lining up. And it's line up and wait. Sit tight. That's it. We're waiting. There could be other calls on frequency. You could be talking to other people.
Firefly 235, report when passing altitude 2,000 feet, winds 220 at 19 knots, runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
Will report when passing altitude 2,000 feet, runway 24, cleared takeoff, Firefly 235. Now, I didn't need to read back the wind or any of that jazz, and my instruction is, once I get to 2,000 feet, we need to call them back. So, power coming in. Toga. Now remember, I'm on a SID. I'm following the SID. I was cleared on the SID, so that's important, yeah? Looking good. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Watch your speed. 200 is where I wanted at. Oopsie daisy. Here's our turn on our SID. Let's hold 200 knots. There's 1,000 feet. So far, so good. We've just passed 1,300 feet. Flaps now fully in. 200 knots is good. Again, I just want to fly at 200 knots. I don't want the thing to be so fast. And this is where it gets important. Don't allow the thing get too fast for you. And that's why your proficiency with aircraft is important. And Firefly 235 passing altitude 2,000 feet for 5,000 feet.
Firefly 235, no further ATC services available. Monitor UNICOM on 122.8.
Monitor UNICOM 122.8 for Firefly 235. We now change to UNICOM. I now jump out of that channel. I go into UNICOM. And that is this lesson. That's it. Now, if you wish, you can absolutely continue your flight onwards to Cork. The few things we want to pick out, I've kept the aircraft travelling at 200 knots, no faster. My instruction was, when I pass 2,000 feet, they want me to call them back. It's at that stage then, Tower said, I've got nothing for you, over to Unicom. If you had approach online, or if you had a controller online, as in top level, you'd be handed over to them. You'll probably be given to Dublin approach, and then maybe, Shannon control, or whatever. That'll all come later. It seems like we covered an awful lot of stuff there, and we did, but we'll break it back down nice and easy for you. Effectively what we've done, lads, right? I can just pause this. Effectively what we've done, we have planned our flight, we filed our flight, we got our ATIS information, we requested our clearance, we requested a push and start, we requested our taxi, then we got a takeoff, then we had to report back, and now we are released to Unicom. The same structure of the communication remains the same. I did throw in a couple of handy things. For instance, keeping my speed lower. I filed for a much slower speed because the distance of the two airports, it'll be over before you even realised you started. Do you know what I mean? So all we've actually done was got our clearance, push and start, taxi, takeoff, and that's it. Like it's about a third of the flight. There are a lot of moving parts, but you'll be surprised. You guys already know how to do push and start. You know how to line up and wait. You know how to taxi. You know how to take off. You know how to do all these things either way. It's only when you add in the ATC communication, that's where your proficiency with the aircraft, knowing what to do and when to do it, becomes super, super important. Now, after next week, we're going to be doing kind of the second part of this flight. Flying from Unicom into an arrival area that has ATC. That's lesson number 3. What we'll do on lesson number 4, we're going to show you a way that will increase your learning capability because it can utilize a shared cockpit environment. So you buddy up. Of everyone who's doing the lessons tonight, you buddy up. Grab someone and say, come on, we're going flying tonight. Yourself and Gibbo are going to show you in detail how the shared flight works. It's called remote flight. And it means then one person flying, one person is going to be doing the ATC. And then you swap it around. And it's practice, practice, practice. But follow the script. There was a conditional clearance there for takeoff, right? It wasn't just runway 24, clear takeoff. It was report when passing altitude 2,000 feet. Now, I know I'm going to report, hey, I'm passing altitude 2,000 feet. Now, if I just reminded the controller, I'm heading up to 5,000 because my initial climb, they already told me my initial climb was 5,000 feet. That's cool. So I can't go higher or lower. Now, I could if I wanted to. I'm on Unicom and I can just say, Shannon traffic, Firefly Air, climbing flight level 07 or 70, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or if I'm onto the approach controller, I can request, Shannon approach, Firefly 235, request flight level 70, for instance. He could say yeah or no, depending on the traffic. You know what I mean? So do we understand where we're at so far, lads? I hope so. Unpause. And we're going to bring my little airplane back to Shannon because, well, now it's time for you guys to do it. And we'll take this nice and slow. Don't worry for a moment that this is beyond you. Lads, it's really not beyond you. Don't worry if you make a mistake. Don't worry if you go max 17 and the whole thing breaks. Oh, Jesus, me plane. Oh, my gear needs to go down. The Phoenix doesn't like slew mode. Doesn't like slew mode. Ah, Jesus. It doesn't like slew mode, lads. Yeah, I've shagged it. It doesn't like slew mode. All right, I'm just going to restart this. But just don't worry, lads. I'm telling you. We'll take our time and we'll see how we get on. All right? So what's going to happen now? Make sure that everyone, unless you were told otherwise, make sure you're on the North Europe server unless you were told otherwise. At this stage, I need to staff up ground because I will be expecting some people start to talk to me. And my aircraft is where it needs to be. I need to move it out of the way because people are going to be starting. So I'll get out of everyone's way. Don't mind me, lads. I'm just going to park away here in the corner so you don't need to worry about me. Leave the aircraft sit there. And am I running the connector? I am. Okay. So my concentration now is going to go to our scope. All right. And this is what the scope looks like. So this is what we're going to be kind of having a chat with. So I'm connected. I am Shannon ground. Let's see here now. Can I put in this? Right. QNH is 1000. And the current ATC code, I think, is Foxtrot. That's still active. Let's have a look. Let's see here now. So we have Shannon ATIS is active. And information Golf is now current. So information Golf is current. So I'm on the ground frequency. Gibbo is currently on delivery. So when you're starting up, you jump in and you say, hey, can I get my clearance, please? And once you get your clearance, the instruction will be, well, you're going to talk to ground when you want your taxi. All right. So I'm currently, I can see, yeah, that's Rambog, I think, is it? And I think, I don't see Gibbo, funny enough. Oh no, there's Gibbo up there. Grand. Sound. So these guys, these are the controllers. So I'm going to leave these guys off the screen here for the moment. And you can see now, see this Firefly 007, right? This is what you look like on the radar. That's what you look like on the radar. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens now. So I can see the departure list here with aircraft coming in, and I can see that some people have clearance, some people don't. So only aircraft coming into this channel, you should already have your clearance. If you haven't got your clearance, don't go near ground. I wonder after filing a flight plan will be allowed to spawn in a UNICOM area.
Shannon ground, Firefly 502 at stand 42, request push and start.
Okay, 502 is. And let's have a look at him. So let's see what happens here. So he wants a push and start. Okay. Facing east, I suppose. Firefly 502, Shannon ground. Push and start approved, facing east. QNH 1000 hectopascals.
Just a technical part. I can barely hear you on the Discord channel.
Hang on, I can fix that.
Can you repeat?
Hang on. I can fix this. Now, lads, I might get loud for you for a minute. Just bear with me. And I'll see what happens here. This could be very loud. And Firefly 502, push and start approved, facing east. QNH 1000 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing east. QNH 100 hectopascals. Firefly 502.
Okay, 502. Why can't I give him clearance? On a second now. Why can't I change the status here? Oh, you're joking. Has the whole thing changed? Right, so 502 has his clearance, and he now has push and start. There he goes. Okay, we're good. Now we're good. Now we're moving. So 502, see the way I've changed the status? That's what controllers do as well, because if aircraft start moving and they're not supposed to move, that's where the whole thing gets really shaky. So Yeah. It is what it is. I'll have to just double up my audio for a while, guys, just in case, because I need to make sure the guys can hear me as well. So we have a couple of guys here. So I'm expecting Firefly 007 and Firefly 202. I can see that they've already received their clearance, and I can see that they've been issued squawk numbers. So all should be well in the realm. So let's see what happens.
Shannon Ground, Firefly 007, request push and start, IFR.
Okay, so 007 is on down at 23. That's okay. Firefly 007, push and start approved, facing north, QNH 1000 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing north, QNH 100, Firefly 007.
Sweet. Good stuff, Muse. Good stuff. Black guys, good to see you. Jamie, it goes well, man. It goes well.
Shannon Ground, FFA 202.
Firefly 202, Shannon Ground, pass your message.
Shannon Ground, FFA 202, parking 52, request push and start.
Firefly 202, push and start approved, facing west, QNH 1000 hectopascals.
Shannon Ground, FFA 202, QNH 1000, face west after push and start.
Cool. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Shannon Ground, Firefly 502, requests taxi, runway 24.
Okay, now it gets interesting, lads. So 502 is now looking for... I don't see his departure. Why don't I see his departure? 502... Hang on a second. I don't see a flight plan log for 502. 502 have a flight plan log, lads? Because I don't see it. 1 second. Firefly 502, can you confirm you have your flight filed?
It was filed. We'll try it again.
That could have been us. We could have broke it. Cool, no worries. Just to confirm, your destination is Cork.
Destination is Cork via Quorum 3 Bravo.
Quorum 3 Bravo.
Firefly 502.
Okay, that's okay. We'll look after you from here. So Firefly 502, taxi, the apron, 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, Delta 2, Charlie, and hold short runway 24. There's a bit in that, but he'll get the
Taxi
idea.
via 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24.
Perfect. That's it. Firefly 502, correct. Thanks. So he's going to be maneuvering this way. This is where ground control gets very interesting, lads. Well, fair play. Like, again, expect the expected, yeah? So I've now said, right, he's taxiing. Murph is finished, so departure. Yeah, we'll leave him, no status. Where is this now? That's just me. So we have 2 aircraft currently pushing and 1 taxiing. So this is going well. So there's 202. That's Kozaki. So he's GA. Quorum 3 Bravo. Just so I know. Okay, so he's taxiing. Okay, we're going good. So here's his taxiing. So I can see him on the scope. You guys see that? You can see them now moving on the scope. Now I can jump into the sim here.
Shannon Ground, Firefly 426, stand 37, west apron, request push and start.
426, west apron. Looking good. Turn up your sound. Firefly 426, Shannon ground, push and start approved, facing north, QNH 1000 hectopascals.
Push and start approved. QNH 1000 hectopascals, facing north, Firefly 426.
Cool. Now, facing north, it's unlikely you're going to get a facing direction. We're just throwing it in there so you're used to hearing it. You know what I mean? But so far, the system is working. Gibbo, you're doing a tremendous job. We've got a good few people now starting to push. Then they're going to be talking to Rambog in the tower, and then they get on. Lads, you're doing a great job. And don't worry if you make a balls of it. Well, that's what we're here for. Don't worry, it's sound. At least then you'll say, that's where I went wrong. You know what I mean? So this is great, lads. You're doing a top job here. You really, really are. Are we having fun watching this? Oh yeah, I think this is great crack. So if we were to have a look at the sim now for people moving, look. So here's some people moving. Look at this, lads. We'll make it daytime so it's easier to see. How's that for an idea? Yeah? So there's Kazaki down there. There's Firefly 426, I think he was. He's now turned left onto Delta, right? We can see the pushbacks happening as well. We can see Musefan there. He's getting himself into position. And we've got guys over here moving as well. This is really, really well done, lads. I can see you're giving each other plenty of space. No one is doubled up. And it's all about taking your time. You're doing a great job. You really, really are, lads. This is brilliant. Well done, you.
Firefly 007, request taxi IFR.
Oh, 007. He's down here. Okay, let's try this one. Firefly 007, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, and hold short runway 24, Firefly 007.
Firefly 007, correct, thanks. You wouldn't usually get it correct. I just want to let them know the read back is correct, right? Dougal, thanks a million. I've said it before, Dougal, you know this yourself. Great things happen when
Shannon
people work
ground,
together.
Firefly 807, stand 24, requesting push and stop.
807, where are you? Stand 24, that's down here somewhere. There he is. Brilliant. Okay. Firefly 807, Shannon ground, push and start approved, facing west, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1001, facing west, Firefly Air 807.
Cool. Now, usually when they ask you, some controllers might get a little bit, you got to say it's hectopascals. And the reason why you need to say that, it's just in case your aircraft is set to altimeter, as in inches of mercury. And now it shouldn't really go down as far as 1,000. Hello?
Shannon ground, FFA 202, off parking 52, request taxi.
Who's that? 202, wasn't it? Yes. Firefly 202, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
FFA 202, hold short runway 24 after taxi 2 Delta 1, Delta 2.
Sweet, that'll do. And that's great, because Zaki's American. You might have gathered from his accent, so...
Firefly 502, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie.
502 is holding short. So Kazaki is using the kind of the US spiel, but that's quite okay. And Firefly 502... contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact tower on 118.7. Firefly 502.
There he goes. So he's now talking to Rambog. Right. So yeah, so what I'm saying, Kozaki, he's American, so he's used to the American way of speaking. So I'm hearing it back a little bit different. I know he knows. The only real challenge here for Kozaki is, right, he needs to watch for other aircraft moving. Now, no one else is getting a taxi ahead of him. So I'm expecting to see Kozaki start moving quick. In saying that, I've told him to go Delta 1 and Delta 2, hold short 2-4. He is not to go near Charlie. Not allowed. Just not going to happen. Yeah? So we can see Muse fan. I also gave him Charlie. So he's going to turn up to Charlie. And then Kozaki, I'm just going to stack him down the bottom here. Because once he passes Charlie, he can take his time. He's in a Warbird. He's in a... What's he in? He's in a Wildcat. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're doing all right. I hope. So Shannon Ground is kind of busy. Shannon Delivery is out the door busy. Gibbo, hope you're getting on all right. There's bread and water after. Okay, so you can see how the different stations are working. If you guys, well, we'll set this up the next time. If we'll do it in such a way that we'll try and get you guys to listen into all the different frequencies. But you're going to know what they're going to say, yeah?
Firefly 007 is holding short, runway 24 on Charlie.
Firefly 007 is here. Bring up your microphone for Muse. And it's going to be... Move this down a bit. And Firefly 007, contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Tower on 118.7, Firefly 007. Good day.
Oop. There he goes.
Firefly 807, off stand 24, request taxi.
Okay, 807, he was down here. So now we need to be careful because I have this guy wanting to go and we're waiting on Kozaki to go. So Kozaki needs to start moving because there's a big Airbus in his way. This could be interesting. Kozaki, are you ready to go? Start taxiing there, Miel Flower. Okay, so we're going to give this guy clearance. Firefly 807. After the taxiing Wildcat, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24. QNH 1001 hectopascals. I probably shouldn't have given the hectopascals, but the last time I spoke to him, it was 1000.
Taxi via Wildcat. Via Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 60.
Okay, just to recap on that, it will be...
Shannon Ground, I have to cancel my flight at this time. I'm stuck. I can't move. My brakes won't release.
Firefly 202, Roger. There's a hammer in the maintenance hangar, not to worry. Break. Firefly 807, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold runway 06.
And Firefly 807, it's hold short runway 24.
Apologies, ground, hold short runway 24.
Don't be sorry, it happens. I once said holding at runway, what did I say? Holding runway 11. These things happen. Okay, we're good. 11.
Firefly 426, off stand 37, request taxi.
Okay, 426. Push and start has been approved. Firefly 426, taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24. So you have 11 Bravo, Alpha, Charlie.
Taxi via 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24. Firefly 426.
Firefly 426, correct. This is really good that
Shannon
you guys
ground,
can deal with
Firefly
these.
207, request start.
Okay, 207, where are you? General aviation, okay.
Correction, I'm on the GA parking.
Good save. Firefly 207, Shannon ground, push and start approved, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1001, Firefly 207.
Cool.
Shannon ground, Firefly 305, stand 28, request push and start.
Okay, Firefly 305, where are you heading? Squawk is giving you Cork, and it's on the Currib 3B. Okay, Currib 3B. Why I'm not getting that. Firefly 305, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1001, facing east, Firefly 305.
Cool. Okay, Storm, you're more than welcome. Okay, Firefly 07.
505, that's 1039. Request push and start.
Isn't an ATR, nice. Firefly 505, Shannon ground, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Firefly 505, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001. Firefly 505.
Cool. That's good, lads. You're doing so well. You're doing brilliant. Who's this devil? That's 807, that's okay.
Shannon ground, Firefly 306, stand 30, ready for push and start.
306 on 30, looking for a push and start. Okay, this guy's going to get... Oh no, he can get one. Firefly 306, Shannon ground, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing east 1001, Firefly 306.
Cool.
Shannon ground, Firefly 605, ramp 6, request push and start.
Firefly 605, Shannon ground, push and start approved, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start improve, QNH 1001 hectopascals. Shit, did you say facing west or east?
No, push back at your discretion, any direction. Just when you are pushed back, you can call me back for a taxi.
Roger Wilco, Firefly 605.
Cool. You get the idea, lads, yeah? Ashley, yeah, 100%. Hey, Quart, good to see you. You're doing so well, lads. I genuinely mean this. Like, let's jump back out to our tower view. Like, look at this. We got people moving here. We're pushing back over there. Kazaki's gone to the maintenance hangar to get a hammer. You're doing really, really well. This is awesome stuff. This is really, really good. What do you think, 777? Oh, can't wait. Can't wait for a 777.
Ground, Firefly 303 at GA Light Aircraft Parking, requesting push and start.
Was that 303? Oh, I don't see him. Firefly 303. Not on scope.
Hello there.
1 second now. Not on scope. Let's have a look. Duke Solo, good to see you. Firefly 303, Shannon Ground. Just confirm your location.
We're at the GA parking for light aircraft.
Okay, don't see on me scope,
That's a
my
big
dude.
10-4, good buddy.
1 second now. Firefly 303, stand by. Is it Noel? Firefly 303, can you confirm aircraft type, please?
We are a Chancellor Cessna 414.
Okay, don't see him. Okay. Firefly 303, I don't see it on the scope. Just to confirm, you have received your IFR clearance?
Affirmative.
And can you confirm you are now on the Southeast Asian server?
That's where I've gone wrong. I think I moved on to North Europe. Okay, I'll stay on the Southeast Asia.
Yeah, if you can go Southeast Asia, once I see it, I'll give you a shout back.
Firefly 207, off stand, request taxi.
Firefly 207, was it? Off stand, request taxi. Where are you, 207?
GA parking.
Ah, yeah, look, there he is in the GA parking. And Firefly 207, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24. Muse fan, that is correct, yes. Exactly
Firefly
what you did.
207, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24.
Firefly 207, correct, thanks.
Firefly 807, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie.
And Firefly 807, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Thank you very much, Firefly 807.
And Firefly 303, Shannon Ground.
Firefly 303, pass your message.
We have you now. Push and start approved. QNH 1011 hectopascals.
Push and start approved 1001 hectopascals. Firefly 303.
Yep.
Firefly 305, off stand, request taxi.
Firefly 305, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24. Firefly 305.
Cool. Right, we're getting good movement here, lads. Okay, so 605 is waiting.
Firefly 605 off ramp 6, request taxi.
Firefly 605, after Firefly 305, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24. Now he's probably saying, after the who?
Taxi, well, actually, wait for the other guy. Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, and hold short on runway 24. Firefly 605.
And Firefly 605, correct. The departing aircraft is an A320. Neil Streeter is the call sign. You can follow him and you turn onto Charlie.
Roger, Firefly 605.
We're getting there, we're getting there.
505, 505, ready to taxi.
Hang on now, 505.
Apron, near 39.
Good man yourself, 505. Firefly 505, taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, hold short, Delta. Here's a curveball. But I can explain if you're stuck.
Firefly 505, taxi to 11 Alpha, 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie, Hotel And hold short runway of Delta.
So just to confirm, Firefly 505, hold short on the taxiway at Delta. So when you're on Hotel 2, just hold short before you turn onto Delta. Give me a call back before Delta.
Hotel 2 and hold short before turning to Delta.
Perfect.
505.
505, correct. Thank you. We'll keep an eye on him. So
Firefly 426, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie.
Firefly 426, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 426.
Shannon ground, Firefly 303, ready for taxi.
So here's 303. So this is where I'm trying to time these lads in together, yeah? Firefly 303, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24.
Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold shorts, runway 24, Firefly 303.
Cool. So just remember,
Shannon
lads.
ground, Firefly 306, ready for taxi to active.
Hello there.
306. Okay, so he's going to have 303 ahead of him. So this could be interesting. And my monitor wants to turn off. Okay, hang on a second. After the 414. Firefly 306, Roger. After the taxiing Cessna Chancellor, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Firefly 306, is it possible to get full length takeoff?
Yes, it is. So disregard previous. Firefly 306, after the taxiing Chancellor, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
After Chancellor, Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short 24. Firefly 306.
Thanks. So when you're calling to say that you're ready for taxi, start taxiing.
Firefly 305, holding short runway 24.
Firefly 305, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 305. Goodbye.
Sweet. So he's up there, look. So he now jumps over to Rambog.
Shannon ground, Firefly 303.
Firefly 303, Shannon Ground, pass your message.
If you have any traffic that wishes to pass by me on the general parking, then feel free to do so. I'm having rudder problems.
Firefly 303, understood. Call me back when you are ready for taxi. Break. Firefly 306, proceed now. Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24. Do.
Shannon ground, Firefly 207.
Firefly 207, Shannon Ground, pass your message.
Shannon ground, 207's having problems with brakes. I'm going to take out of the sim.
Firefly 207, no problem. If it's an aircraft issue or a controller bind, by all means, if you want to slew out of the way, or you can call us back, no worries.
Shannon
It can
ground,
happen.
Firefly 705 on stand
207,
4.
I'm out of here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're okay.
Shannon ground, Firefly 705 on stand 34, requesting push and start.
Now 705, you're 7A3, you're a big machine. He's requesting push and start. Firefly 705, Shannon Ground, push and start approved after the company TBM, moving from your right to left. QNH 1001 hectopascals. He's no factor now.
Push and start approved. QNH 1001. After the company TBM, Firefly 705. Is there a preference in direction? Firefly 705.
705, that TBM no longer a factor, so you can push and start facing east, please.
Push and start, facing east, Firefly 705.
Now, I can't change its status. That's interesting.
Shannon ground, Firefly 306. Confirm the Chancellor I'm following is still on the roll.
Firefly 306, negative. We called you earlier. The Chancellor no longer a factor. So you can proceed to taxi now on Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
Delta 1, Delta 2, Firefly 306, short 24.
Cool. Right, 705. I can't edit 705.
Shannon ground, Firefly 702 on stand 42, request push and start.
Firefly 702, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1001 hectopascal, facing east, Firefly 702.
Now 705, why can't I get this lad? Does someone have 705 kind of... Oh, they do, look. Why is he up there?
Ground Firefly 303.
I can't assume him either. Firefly 303, Shannon ground, pass your message.
Rudder issue sorted, ready for new taxi instructions.
Hooray! Firefly 303, taxi behind the taxiing 787. Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24.
Taxi behind the company traffic, Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24. Firefly 303.
Firefly 306, hold position, caution traffic on your left from hotel, which is a TBM. He has right of way.
Firefly 306 holding.
Firefly 505, continue taxi, Delta 2 and Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Firefly 605, holding short runway 24 at Delta 2.
Firefly 605, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 605.
Firefly 505. Hold short at taxiway Delta.
Firefly
taxiway Hotel 2. Turning taxiway Delta.
Firefly 505, continue taxi. Yeah, links probably won't work actually, I would say. Yeah, there's an issue here.
You were interrupted. Please say again.
Firefly 505, continue taxi. That was loud.
Should say again Firefly 505.
And Firefly 505, continue taxi.
Continue taxi 505. Roger.
Good stuff. Yeah, so
Shannon
705.
ground, Firefly 507 in front of the 8 Alpha Sierra Lima hangar, requesting push and start.
Firefly 507, push and start approved, facing north. QNH 1001 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing north, hectopascal 1001, Firefly 507.
Firefly 306, resume taxi after the taxiing TBM.
Firefly 306, continue taxi after TBM.
Okay, so they're stacking up nicely. We got a few people here. This is awesome, lads.
Firefly 705, off stand 34, request taxi.
Firefly 705, taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, hold short Delta.
Firefly 705, taxi via 11 Alpha, 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie, Hotel 1, hold short, Delta.
Firefly 05 negative, taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, hold short, Delta. So Hotel 1 is over there, so we don't
Firefly
need to go that far.
705, taxi via 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, hold short, Delta.
Firefly 705, correct. Thank you. They're really doing well.
505, I missed the taxiway. I am at taxiway Delta 2, hold shorting.
Okay, shouldn't be hold shorting, so...
Request rerouting.
Okay, this can happen, so don't panic. Firefly 505, continue taxi on Delta 2 and hold short runway 24. Just keep following up the taxiway all the way to the hold short line.
Firefly 505, continue taxi on Delta 2 until the runway. Firefly 505.
And just remember, 505, hold short runway 24. Do not enter runway.
The hold short runway 24.
Okay, it's good.
Firefly 505.
So, like, it's actually a good lesson to kind of see what happens if someone makes a bit of an issue. So he didn't actually make an issue.
Shannon ground, Firefly 508, stand 25, request start only.
508, request start only. Ah, so he's already facing direction of travel. See that? Brilliant. Firefly 508, Shannon ground, startup approved, QNH 1012 hectopascals.
Start only approved. QNH 1012, Firefly 508.
Cool.
Shannon ground, Firefly 602, stand 23, request push and start.
23, 602, there you go. What are you? You're an HU20. Firefly 602, Shannon ground. Push and start approved, facing north. QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Firefly 602, push approved, face north. QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Sweet. Right, how goes the list of people? So, good few people on ground, and not too many people left on delivery. You're doing very well, lads. You're doing excellently well. Fair play to you.
Shannon ground, Firefly 308, stand 26 Bravo, request startup, no push required.
Firefly 308, Shannon ground, startup approved, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Hello there.
Startup approved, QNH 1002 hectopascal, Firefly 308.
Thank you for the follow. See how handy it is when you don't need to worry about a push? So, like, again,
Firefly
pick a
702,
stand
off stand
facing.
42, request taxi.
702 requesting taxi. There we go. Firefly 702, taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, Hotel 2, hold short, Delta.
Taxi 11 Bravo, 11 Alpha, 11 Charlie, H2, hold on Delta 1. I forgot the H, sorry.
That's okay, 702. Readback is correct. Proceed. And hotel.
Proceed to hotel, thanks.
Firefly 705, continue taxi. Oh, you need to be listening. Firefly 705, continue taxi.
Firefly 705, continuing taxi.
Up the yard. Right, we're doing well. You're doing brilliant, lads. You're absolutely brilliant. Now, if you're holding short of the runway, you call me up, and now it's time to talk to departure. So we got a couple of people waiting up the top here now. So, Jesus, where's he gone?
Firefly 508, off stand 25, request taxi.
Firefly 508, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24. I think we broke it, PS Mirandai. It's just a line that's gone.
Taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24, Firefly 508.
Cool. So this is 505, wasn't it? Firefly 505, contact Shannon Tower 118.7. So you need to be listening out for your call sign, because like in an ATC environment, if you miss your call, they'll be like, hey.
Contact Shannon Tower 118.7. Firefly 505.
Cool, there we go. Yeah, actually we got someone on tower, yeah. We have someone on tower, yeah, 100% lads.
Shannon ground, Firefly 308, off stand 26 Bravo, request taxi.
308 is off 26, request taxi. Yeah, 308. Oh yeah. Firefly 308, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24, Firefly 308.
So he's going to follow that guy. He's going to go up that way. So they're going together.
Ground, Firefly 206, stand for 1, request push and start.
Firefly 206, Shannon ground, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1001, Firefly 206.
There's a bit of a queue. There's
Firefly
a little bit.
306, Delta 2, short of 24.
Firefly 306, contact tower 118.7.
118.7, Firefly 306.
Yeah. Okay, so 306 is good.
Good evening, Shannon ground, Firefly 006, Cessna 172 at the GA parking. Requesting startup.
Firefly 006, Shannon ground, startup approved, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Shannon ground, startup approved, QNH 1002, Firefly Air 006.
Cool. We're getting through it, lads.
And Shannon ground, Firefly 507, ready to taxi.
507. Where are you hiding? 507. 507, Murph. Where are you? 507. Oh yeah, he pushed. Firefly 507. Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, and hold short
Dreamy,
runway
sleepy, nighty,
24,
snoozy, snooze.
Firefly 507.
See, I was going to try and turn them to the right and go in this way, but that taxiway is actually closed, even though they kind of use it. But
Firefly 602, off stand 23, request taxi.
Firefly 602, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
Firefly 602, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short 24.
Cool. It's getting lively now, isn't it?
Shannon ground Firefly 408, stand 28, request push and start.
Firefly 408, push and start approved, facing east, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1002, facing east, Firefly 408.
Okay, now 308 is given out to me, but he has taxi clearance, so I need to change that. That's Mickey, isn't it? No, who's 308? Ah, Firefly 308. 308 taxi. There's a favourite going on, isn't there? Now, we can probably get this guy moving now. Firefly 006, continue taxi. Go on, you devil. You'll make the gap. Firefly 006, continue taxi. Ah, it's like the M50.
Shannon ground, Firefly Air 006, just actually starting up yet, not ready for taxi.
Oh, balls, I just did something terribly Murphy. You passed the test.
I certainly did, thank you.
Never mind. Oh, no.
Firefly 405 on stand 23, ready for push and start.
405 on stand 23. Firefly 405, push and start approved, facing west, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing west, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Can I get a refund?
Listen, I want me first refund. I'm doing a terrible job. It's grand. It's grand.
Firefly 206 off stand 41, request taxi.
Firefly 206, taxi apron, Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Taxi apron, Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24, Firefly 206.
Taxi incursion? No, we're good. Firefly 702, continue taxi.
Continue taxiing Firefly 702.
Oh, brilliant. Airlock. You take care. We're going to have...
Ground, Firefly 003, stand 27, request start.
Firefly 003, we'll call you back. Where are we having a taxi? Where are we having a taxi collision, lads?
Firefly 003.
Right, 705 I can't control. He's after getting takeoff. These guys are holding here. There's a bit of a queue, but like, we're grand. Right, 003, we're just going to wait for 408 to get the way.
Shannon ground, Firefly 303, holding short runway 24.
Firefly 303, contact Shannon Tower, 118.7.
118.7, Firefly 303.
Yup. Okay, so we're going to hold 003 here for the moment because we've a bit of traffic here, yeah? So we can see 206 is moving to 408, but I'm expecting 408 to call us to say, yeah, I'm good to go. We hope. This could be timing now, lads. Do you know?
Firefly 424, requesting push and start Shannon ground.
Firefly, was that 424?
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Nakaron, thank you very much. Last aircraft calling, just to confirm, was that Firefly 424?
Affirm Firefly 424.
Firefly 424, startup approved, QNH 1002 hectopascals.
Firefly 424, startup approved, QNH 1001 hectopascals.
1002 hectopascals.
1002, acknowledge.
Okay, what's going to happen here? Am I going to crash people?
And Shannon ground, Firefly 507, holding short at Charlie, runway 24.
507. You're back in the wheel. Firefly 507, contact Shannon Tower 118.7. Whoop, you devil, yeah.
Shannon Tower 118.7. Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Firefly 507.
Firefly 408, off stand 28, request taxi.
This is going to be interesting now. So 408 is off the stand, requesting taxi. And I already have 206 taxiing. Firefly 408, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24, Firefly 408.
And Firefly 206, you can follow the company 737 along Delta 1, Delta 2.
Follow the company 737, Delta 1, Delta 2, Firefly 206.
Crisis averted, lads. Jesus.
Firefly 705, holding short, runway 24 at Delta.
Do-do-do-do-do. Firefly 705, contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 705.
Yep. Brilliant, lads. These are doing so well.
Shannon ground, Firefly Air 006, light aircraft parking, now ready for taxi for power checks.
Okay, there's a bit of traffic ahead of them, so we'll have to watch this. 408 and 206 need to move. Firefly 006, are you good to move right now?
I'm good to move right now.
Super. Firefly 006, immediate taxi on Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Immediate taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short 24. Firefly Air 006.
Thanks. Sweet. So he's ready to go now. These guys
Firefly 508, holding short runway 24 at Delta.
At Delta. 508. Firefly 508, contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 508.
There is a reason to stack them here because
424 ready to taxi.
424 ready to taxi. And Firefly 424, are you ready to go right now?
I can push if you want.
Just follow the...
424.
Grant, just follow the Cessna 172 onto Delta 2, Delta 1, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
Delta 2, Delta 1, then Charlie following the Cessna, Firefly 424.
Sweet. Because we're just waiting on these lads to get it moving. Look at this, lads. Isn't this just like the cat's pajamas, isn't it?
Shannon ground, Firefly 408, having brake problems, cannot move.
Firefly 408, roger. Hold position, call me back when ready. Firefly 206, continue taxi, passing the 737. There's buttons all over stuff. He can fit there, can't he?
Continue taxi, passing 737 on the right side. Firefly 206.
Firefly 003, Shannon ground. Push and start approved, facing east. QNH 1002 hectopascals. So I imagine the brake problems tonight are from the pushback, either better or what?
That approved. QNH 1002 facing east, Firefly 003.
Good man. I'd say if you're using the pushback gadget, it makes it like the only way to fix it, you got to kind of press Shift P, and then even hit slew and hit slew again, and you should be good to go. But again, don't worry if that happened. It hasn't ruined your night at all.
405, ready for taxi.
Ooh, this is going to be tricky now. Let's see here now. So 408 is shagged. Firefly 405, taxi behind the taxiing longitude. Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24.
Taxi behind the longitude. Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24.
Sweet.
Firefly 405.
Perfect. You're doing well, lads. I say Rambog is flat to the mat.
Shannon ground, Firefly 408, ready for taxi.
Brilliant. Firefly 408, roger. After the A320, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24. So there's a nice conditional thrown in.
Taxi after the A320, Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short, runway 24.
Cool. So as we're having a look at it here, so we can see now there's the longitude. The A320 is going to follow the longitude, and then we'll have a 78 or a 74 or 737 who's down here somewhere. He just hasn't appeared yet. He'll follow them. And then we have 003. He's sitting here ready to go. And look at this. This is brilliant. Look at the lineup we have here. This is super cool, lads. It's so smooth, isn't it? This is brilliant. They're doing an absolute cracking job. Fair play to Gibbo. He's given everyone a clearance tonight. Jays, Gibbo, how many did you have, man?
Firefly 308, holding short, runway 24.
Firefly 308, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Contact Tower 118.7, Firefly 308.
Okay, 308.
Firefly Air 006, holding short at Charlie for 24.
Firefly 006, contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Contact Tower 118.7. Bye-bye.
Bye, see ya. Poor El Rambog now is going to be out the gap. Oh, yeah. Gibbo and Rambog, awesome. Really, they really are, lads, yeah. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. 25 or so. Nice to be chilling right now. Gibbo, I can just picture you, you know, shirt off, sweating, towel wrapped around your head. That's what I'd be doing.
Firefly 405, falling short at Charlie for runway 24.
2 aircraft
Hello
calling,
there.
please say again. Fire Max. Patrick, you take care.
Firefly 405. Can you confirm that that was Iceman I'm waiting for to taxi?
Firefly 405 negative should be a 737, which is Firefly 408. Break. Firefly 408, Shannon ground.
Firefly 408, waiting for the A320.
Roger, 408. Firefly 405, proceed now. Taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, hold short runway 24.
Clear to taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, runway 24, Firefly 405. Thank you.
Cool. And Firefly 408, roger, you will be taxiing after the A320. He's moving now.
Taxi after T20 via Delta 1, Delta 2, holding short, runway 24.
Sweet.
Firefly 408.
Okay, so there's one aircraft not appearing on our scope for whatever
Firefly
reason.
602, holding short runway 24 on Delta.
Oh. 602, was it? Grand. Firefly 602, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
118.7, 602.
See ya! I'm just waiting for someone to go. Many thanks for subscribing, Stephen. You're very kind, man. Cheers, dude. Cheers. What's Shannon add on? I'm using the MK scenery. MK scenery. One of the best things I've seen on stream. Great work, everyone. Yeah, it's awesome, Dougal, isn't it? It's awesome. Absolutely super. Right, how are we looking here now? 405 is moving. That's the A320. Then 408 is the 73. He's moving. And then we're just waiting on...
003 at stand 27, request taxi.
Firefly 003, taxi Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short runway 24.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
003, taxi via Delta 1, Delta 2, Charlie, hold short, runway 24.
That's it. Good stuff. You're getting there. Lads, these are doing an absolute... Like, this is just... I didn't think it was going to run this smooth. I'm really impressed. Your voice procedure is awesome. Your etiquette around the airport is awesome. I can see you're holding short where you need to hold short. The departures are absolutely spot on. Your pushback, we have a couple of issues, I think, just with the brakes locking up.
Firefly 702, holding short runway 24 at Delta.
Oh, look, we got a high speed there from 003. Now, let me see. Last aircraft 7 is at Delta. At Delta. Was that 702? Firefly 702, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 702.
We had a high speed taxi. It's like, oh, Jesus, he's gone off the taxiway. What happened? Iceman has gone all wrong. There goes Fred. This is class looking, isn't it? It's very good, lads, isn't it? So there goes Firefly 006 and the little Cessna 172. Caution the wake turbulence of an A320. It'll be like flying behind a washing machine. The ATC stuff was fun, apart from the unable to say Firefly. It's always a good tongue twister. Gabe is away. He says, fantastic stuff, Murph, Gibbo and Rambog. This could be a special stream 2 to 3 times a year. Yeah, 100%. Gabe, yeah, 100%. Like, it's all about learning now. And that's why things mightn't feel as fluid. It's going to be like...
Firefly 424 holding short at Charlie.
424 is holding short at Charlie. Firefly 424, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7. Maybe beans.
118.7, Firefly 424. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be getting busy there now for Rambog, so it will. There goes 206. You're up the road, 006. I wonder, did Kozaki find the hammer? But yeah, like the first time we do this, lads, it's gonna seem a little bit kind of clunky and hard to, you know what I mean? Practice. Like you'll look back at this and you'll say, Jesus, do you remember the time we used to stress out over like getting our clearance and taxiing and a departure? Like, you know what I mean? This will all become, no, I just want to keep doing this because I know this. Then you get to the next stage. You know, like you have loads of scope. Baby Eat Bean says, just bought the game for Steam Summer Sale and we're already looking to buy a HOTAS. Ooh, for a PC. Depending on your price point. So Thrustmaster do a fairly good one. The what's it called? The T16000. That's a full HOTAS, joystick and throttle and rudder pedals. You can pick the whole lot for about $200. Or the Thrustmaster Airbus stuff. I'd highly recommend that as well. So Thrustmaster is fairly bang on. I'd recommend that. If you have an extra few bob to spend, look at their Warthog equipment, HOTAS Warthog. That's heavy steel and very sturdy. And then if you have, you know, ridiculous amounts of money to throw at it, look at Virpil. The Constellation Alpha along with the Warbird base is an excellent stick, and their throttles are amazing as well. Kazaki says, I got pulled out of the mud, back to the hangar, and beat the stew out of the plane's crew chief. Oh, we're brilliant. Firefly 3 probably has steering issues. It can happen as well, yeah. So the pushback stuff, again, that's something to practice and practice. And if you're not happy with it, as I said, use the Shift P and just manually
Firefly
taxi.
405, holding short, runway 24.
Firefly 405, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Tower 118.7. Thank you.
Yep. So we have 3 left.
Firefly 003 holding short, runway 24.
At Charlie.
Behind aviation jet.
At Charlie. Say the Charlie bit. Firefly 003, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower at 118.7. Bye.
See ya. Good job. One, two, three, four, five, six. We got 6 guys left altogether. Englewood, thanks a million. Alarm in 5 hours. Yeah, we're pushing on a little bit, although we're not doing too bad. I wasn't expecting this many people tonight.
Firefly 206, holding short, runway 24 at Charlie.
Firefly 206, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower now on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower 118.7, Firefly 206.
Sweet. So 408 is our last. He's a 7-3. It's pretty cool, lads, isn't it? Looking at the Trustmaster flight pack that comes with the throttle joystick for 230. The Warthog looks nice, but way out of your budget. Yeah, Baby, have a look at the second-hand market as well. I mean, a lot of the flight sim gear, like, it ages pretty well. So, like, you can pick up some really good value second-hand equipment. And for the most part, us flight simmers, we tend to take care of our gear. Do you know what I mean? So maybe the second-hand market might be a slightly cheaper way in. The very cheapest, start off with a good throttle and a good stick. I would say the Airbus pack, you'd probably pick that up for maybe $120, I think. Pedals, whilst they are good to have, you have a twist with the joystick, so you don't necessarily need pedals starting off, you know? Drummer, yes I am. Java Who, good to see you. This is really good. So we have what? We have 3 left? Well, 4 left because there's a 7-3 I can't see. I wonder is that 7-3 actually on our server? Is that why he's...
Firefly 408 holding short, runway 24 at Delta 2.
Firefly 408, thank you. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 408.
Sweet. Right, so that's all the clearances. That's all the taxi and ground instructions. And then the last couple of guys are now just up with the tower. So there's no one else on ground. I'm going to jump on into tower.
206, behind the departing aircraft, line up and wait to runway 24. Behind.
So hear that?
Behind
Conditional
the
clearance.
departing aircraft, line up and wait, runway 24, behind Firefly 206.
So he's been told, line up and wait behind the departing.
Passing 2,000 feet for 5,000.
Firefly 424, no further ATC available. Monitor UNICOM 122.8. Bye-bye.
22.8. Thank you.
Meanwhile, there's a swarm of people heading for Cork. Oh, brilliant. Turn down my microphone a bit. Right, that's probably... Is that better? Can you hear me a bit better now? I'm not being too loud.
Shannon Tower, Firefly 408, holding short, runway 24 at Delta 2, ready for departure.
Firefly 408, hold position.
Holding position, Firefly 408.
Okay, we're doing well. So we have the longitude.
405, passing 2,000 feet.
Firefly 405, and no further ATC available. Monitor UNICOM 122.8. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
122.8. Thank you very much.
Lads, this is so awesome.
Shannon Tower, Firefly 003, holding short, runway 24 at intersection C, ready for departure.
Firefly 003, hold position.
Roger, hold position. Firefly 003.
Firefly 206, report when passing altitude 2,000 feet. Winds are 230 at 15 knots. Runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
It's windy.
Report when passing altitude 2,000 feet. Runway 24, cleared for takeoff. Firefly 206.
Firefly 408, behind the departing aircraft, runway 24, line up and wait.
Behind departing aircraft, line up and wait behind.
So if I put it on
Firefly 408.
If I put it on live weather, I wasn't using live weather just to have a look at everyone, but like, yeah, it's 15 knots. Look at the blowage. It is windy. So there is a 7.3 we can't see. Well, I can't see, but he's on the scope, so someone can see him. So there's a 7.3 about to line up. We will see this guy. Martel is going to give a shout as he hits 2,000 feet. Lads, I am so proud of everyone tonight. Jesus, like it's such an effort made here. Let's have a look on the scope. So like, wow, look at all the traffic hitting the Cork. Look at this. There's a ton of traffic on the ground now in Cork. That's absolutely brilliant. Look, that's amazing.
Firefly 206, passing altitude 2,000 feet for 5,000 feet.
Firefly
Jesus.
206, no further ATC available. Monitor UNICOM 122.8. Bye-bye.
Hello there.
Monitor UNICOM 121.8. Thanks for the service. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the follow. It's like, look at Cork.
Firefly 408, report passing altitude 2,000 feet. Winds are 230 at 15 knots. Runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
Will report when passing altitude 2,000 feet, cleared for takeoff, runway 24, Firefly 408.
This is so cool. So last up then, we're going to have Iceman, which is Firefly 003. He's going to get the call after the 737. And I can't believe we've had over 20 people plan their flight. They filed the flight plan.
Firefly 003, runway 24, line up and wait.
File the flight plan. Got their clearance.
Firefly 003, line up and wait.
Got their clearance. Push and start, taxi, their takeoff instruction. They departed, called back after passing 2,000 feet, and then were handed over to Unicom. What you guys have done tonight, you can do that on VATSIM. You know? But don't jump the gun, because we want to do an arrival into a controlled airspace.
Firefly 408, passing altitude 2,000 feet for 5,000 feet. Cura 3 Bravo.
Firefly 408, no further ATC available. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
Randbog will be saying
Monitor
that in his sleep
Unicom
tonight.
on 122.8 Firefly 408. Bye bye. Thank you.
No more ATC available. No more ATC available.
Firefly 003, report passing altitude 2,000 feet. Winds are 230 at 16 knots. Runway 24 cleared for takeoff.
For report when passing 2,000 feet, cleared for takeoff. Runway 24,
Getting more windy, yeah.
003.
I mean, where it says, what a feat, even as a complete no knowledge novice, I can see a great thing it was. This is huge, folks. It's huge. I wish I had something like this when I started. Rambog, you did an absolute freaking stellar job. You're nearly off the hook now. You're just going to wait for Iceman to give you a shout at 2,000 feet, and then we're in there like the swimwear. That is just class. Hang on, we give an L shout in. Well, I won't jump on the frequency yet. So just remember, once you leave the Shannon Tower frequency, jump into the Unicom, because you're going to be talking to other pilots. And currently in Unicom, there's like 10 or 15 pilots in there. How awesome is that? What a hoot. Is that my sim acting up? Yeah, my sim is doing the starter business again. Look. Jesus. I wonder, is it aircraft specific? We have no idea. We have no idea. So once he gets up to about 2,000 feet, which is any time now, he needs to call back.
Firefly 003 passing 2,000 feet for 5,000.
Firefly 003, no further ATC available. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
Monitor Unicom on 118. Can you please repeat Unicom's number, please?
122.8.
122.8. Firefly 003.
Sweet. And then Iceman jumps over to the Unicom channel, and I would say, lads, that is a very successful run. Asher, how are you, boys?
My head is dead. It's just gone.
You did very well.
Yeah, but still.
I'd say, I don't know, Gibbo's been chilling out now for a while, but then again, he was the busiest at the start. How did you get on, Gibbo?
No, everybody did it amazing, absolutely amazing, and there wasn't any sign of mic fright. You know, they were happy to jump on, and there was no nerves in the voice. Everybody did really, really well. I think the learning tonight for some folks, I think, is just like in VATSIM, the importance of one, getting your call sign right. But more importantly, your flight plan, you know, so and logging that and making sure it's correct. So, you know, there's a couple instances where it needed to be refiled, just like it would be in VATSIM. So very, very close to the real thing. So it's going to put us in good stead for when we do move over to VATSIM in a couple lessons time.
Definitely. And I think, yeah, like, so the challenge is probably tonight as well. There might be on the pushback stuff, because, you know, a couple of people had stuck brakes, and which can happen. Like, it does nothing worse, right? You're set up in your flight on VATSIM, and next thing, the push happened to us, Gibbo. Remember, the brakes just wouldn't release. So yeah, it's no mic fright at all. I mean, I can attest to that as well. And it's so many people flying. It's been quite incredible. And from all stations, I mean, their clearance to the ground, and then racking them and stacking them, if you like, for Rambog, who's then giving them their clearance. Like, I think that went very, very well. And you know, it's this is what folks need to practice on. I mean, it's you practice this, separate this entire thing as like 1/3 of your flight. The next third of your flight is, you know, your en route stuff, and then the last third of it is your arrival and you know, taxi back for parking. So, you know, we'll break it down into these 3 parts. But no, I just wanted to say a massive thanks to Gibbo and to Rambog. Lads, incredible stuff tonight. Yous are on fire. Well done and brilliant. And just we just couldn't do this without you. So well done, and thanks a million.
Oh, thank you as well, and thanks for everyone joining. It's been a blast. This is so much fun.
It really is.
Yeah, everyone did so well. Already really looking forward to next week. And yeah, thanks for taking part, everyone. We did it, Murph.
Hey, brilliant.
We got done it.
Awesome stuff. Right, lads, so we'll chat to you in a bit. And for everyone else, well, for everyone for taking part, guys, thank you so very, very much indeed. We're doing well. Like, you know, this is only our second lesson in. Don't feel that we've moved too far ahead. Everything is available. You can go back through all of these. You can go back to the video. You can follow along with the course document as well. And if anyone needs kind of, you know, one-to-one tuition, or you need a bit of a dig out, well, so you let us know on Discord and we'll get you sorted. We'll jump on in and we'll say, hey, you know, how can we help out here? And that's what it's all about. So a massive thanks to everyone. Brilliant stuff. We're back to you on this coming Wednesday. We'll be bringing the news, and we're going to be checking out the Hindenburg blimp thingy, which will be interesting, amongst others. And then, yeah, it's a busy week ahead. So thank you all so very, very much indeed for your support tonight. Well done to all our pilots who have completed the flight tonight. I'm really, really impressed with how you guys managed to do it. There was even some conditional clearances thrown in there as well, and you guys managed them without any hiccup or hassle. So well done. And Kozaki has found the crew chief, and looking forward to flying with you again soon. And for everyone else, lads, thanks a million, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Good night and take care. Did you know? Tachan Moragum. Right? You shouldn't be.
Do you need a hand?
No, I don't need a. Do I need a hand?
It's heavy, yeah. Jesus, Murph! What have you done?
Shit. Oh, okay.
Oh, balls. Thomas, you big scuttling Egypt. Oh, Jesus, there he is. I don't want to know. Oh, I take it all back. Did you just see me scream? Oh, no. That wasn't nice at all.